Yo, yo, what's up? It's your man Ken Billions on the check-in, repping that Coin Gang Ministries. What's popping? What's happening? Salute to you and yours wherever you at. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me, and I appreciate that because we can't get it cracking over here with this thing if y'all don't show up. So I appreciate that. You know, you could be anywhere, but you're rocking with your boy. So as always, if you can hear me, press one, and if you can see me, press two. If you can hear me, press one, and if you can see me, press two. Today conversation is a much needed conversation, and I'm gonna take it back to the old school how I was brought up, where the people really did critical analysis and critical thinking, and really dug into the topics, and they didn't do talking points. So I came up under some great minds. I came up under Joelle Pulcrum, and when she did Seven Circuits of the Brain, I was truly inspired. I was blown away. I came up under Dr. Malachi York before the case. I didn't know nothing about that when I received my first Malachi York book. I was truly inspired. I came up under Bobby Hemmett and what he told me about the occult. I was truly inspired. And Phil Valentine and so many more people. And I used to watch these people on VHS tapes. You know what I mean? I used to just sit for hours and hours and listen to them talk and listen to them build. And I was so blown away. And they didn't do talking points. They made me go out and research. They made me go out and study. So I just want to dedicate where I'm about to go with this to them, because today's conversation seems to be a conversation that we keep on having, but it's not really well defined. It's not really well thought out. We just use words and we don't know where they came from, and we don't even know what they mean. And we don't even know if certain things apply in a digital age. So I'm going to get into it. I'm not going to waste no time. But before I get into it, make sure you like and share the video. I'll keep the cussing to a minimum so you can share me on your page. Don't worry about it. I'll keep the shock value to a minimum so you can go ahead and share me on your page. But we about to blast off and we about to go to another level. So I appreciate you being here once again. Levels cool. Everything sound great on y'all end. Make sure you like and share the video. We got some low likes, man. We got to get them likes up, man. Come on now. Don't be scared of your boy. Today's conversation is submissive woman or submissive women. Is a woman supposed to be submissive? Is that her natural state by nature? I'm curious, because the reason I'm doing this is because men, we can find ourselves in the story that I'm talking about. Because what is our true nature? The true nature of a man, not the socially engineered nature of a man, not the production, media, music. No, the nature of a man. And we're going to get into that right now. Before I get into that, I want to show you guys something. How this thing goes right here. Take a look at this for a second. Now, remember the topic. I'm going to walk this thing down. We're going to do a lot of reading today. We're going to put our thinking caps on so the people that are here, you don't have to agree. But I just want to give you a different perspective and open up our minds a little bit and get us out of binary thinking, meaning this or that, zeros and ones. All right? So please tag somebody that you think would appreciate this conversation. Also, like the page. When you like the page, when you like the build, it breaks the algorithm. It lets Facebook and YouTube know that this is a hot thing, right? So definitely do that. It's free to do that, please. I want to show you something. I'm going to show you a few pictures. This right here was the Roman Empire at the particular time. I would take the Cash App symbol down, but I am mashing for my rations. But what you see behind that is North Africa. So this was a picture of the Roman Empire. This is a lot of land at this particular time. The Romans did their thing. Now, when civilizations engage in expansion of an empire, they convert the people that they conquer into their way of life. Some people do it more harshly. They rape the women. They kill the children, kill everyone, like the Vikings and Leif Erikson. The Vikings were vicious and brutal. They were very, very bloodthirsty. Other civilizations are a little more sophisticated in their expansion of empire. So depending on who the emperor was for Rome, it depended on the treatment. If you was Emperor Nero, Nero was vicious. Nero was crazy. Nero was brutal. Nero was a little different than Marcus Aurelius. All right. So this is the Roman Empire. Now, everywhere you see had a way of life before Rome converted them. Everywhere you see had a way of life and a way of doing things for hundreds, maybe even thousands or hundreds of thousands of years before Rome conquered them. Rome had a superior army. And superior technology is the reason people lose wars. Superior technology. Remember that. Because technology is the reason why you think the way you do. The way that you see the world and the way that you see women is nothing but technology. And we'll get into that later. So our first empire that I'm showing is the Roman Empire. Very big, right? Now remember, if you are conquered, then that means the way that you see the world is through the lens not of the conqueror, but of the peasantry class of the civilization of the conqueror. So let me tell you what I mean by that. The majority, let's say Black Americans, don't see the world through the lens of the white ruling class. The majority of Black America see the world through white peasantry lens. So what you would call the redneck. Okay? Because if the Black Americans seen the world the way the white elite did, then Black America would mate different and talk different and be about finances different. The Black American was deeply affected by the redneck of the South. So ratchet culture and dysfunctional Black American culture, the root of it is the poor peasantry class of Europe. Copy? All right. So this is the Roman Empire. Let me show you another empire. The Spanish Empire. Before the Brits ever came to America, the conquistador was in America. And they were coming to America with the mindset and the approval of the Roman Catholic Church. The document of discovery gave them a divine right, legal right, to go and conquer any lands that didn't have a Christian army. So everything you're seeing in red was the extent of the Spanish Empire. Now, if you live in places like Texas or Arizona, you see even architecture that is in the image of Spain. So when you're looking at what you call a Native American or Mexican, they all speak Spanish. That's because of the conquistadors. Central and South America had thriving empires like the Aztecs and Incas. I didn't say they were good people. I just said they were thriving empires. And Pizarro and Hernandez and Cortez decimated the population, looking for gold, looking for El Dorado. They had superior weaponry. They had armor that couldn't be pierced. And everywhere in red had a civilization. By the time the Spanish left, those people no more had their own customs and their own ideals. What do you think the behavior of women was before everywhere in red was conquered? Do you think women before this red right here, do you think they had a mindset of submission, or did they work in tandem with their partner? Because that's how you build civilization. Do you understand? Everywhere in red, Catholicism was planted on the people. Before Catholicism, these people, many of them, worship the sun, worship the stars, worship nature. They put their deities in their image. By the time the Spanish left, their deities were now saints of Europe. Now, the concept that we see women is Greek. We see the women through a Roman lens or a Greek lens. Okay? But that is not how you build civilizations. All right? So what you think is the natural role of a woman is nothing but a production. And I guess you would think things are normal if they've been like that for 1,500 years or 1,000 years or 500 years. You think the world has always been like that. But the world has not always been like that. And if you continue with the behavior that you have right now, you're going to extinct your group of people, because that is not the behavior to get a win. And I'll show you why shortly. Bear with me. But I want to walk you down of empire so you understand that one group of people always dominates another group of people. And the dominating group of people converts those group of people into a lower tier peasantry thinking of their own culture and their own society. I'm about to cook. So I showed you the Roman Empire, the Spanish Empire. This is the Mali Empire. Now, what you're looking at to the left is the eastern shoreline of Brazil. Okay? Brazil, especially in the Bahia area, is big on orishas. Now, there's a real big misconception that Europeans transported 10 million people. Do you know how many millions? The average slave boat could not carry 1,000 people. Do you know how many trips it would take to transport 10 million people? Like, where do you even get a number like that? Where's the ledger for that? 10 million. No. The Mali Empire was already in Brazil. I'm just showing you empire. So when people expand their empire, they also expand their culture. All right? So just so you don't think I'm just showing European empires. No. This is the Mali Empire. All right? Okay? Now, to expand your empire, you must have superior technology. You must be able to impose your will on the group of people that you are trying to conquer. All right? So we went through the Spanish Empire. We went through the Roman Empire, and this is the Mali Empire. And for the record, Africans got themselves over to the Americas. The European did not transport 10 million individuals on boats that could not fit 1,000 people. When we repeat that argument, that only enhances the superiority ideals of European culture. Do you even know how many people 10 million is? Do you really think 10 million people got over here on inadequate ships? No, they got themselves over here. Moving right along. This is the Japanese Empire. Okay? The Japanese conquered the whole Philippines. The Japanese were such badasses that the United States had to drop a atomic bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. At the height of World War II, I believe the Japanese had made alliances with Hitler and Mussolini. The Japanese were kicking the West's ass. Okay? I'm showing you empire because this is the nature of man, to dominate other groups of people. And in that domination, the people that are conquered are going to live out a way of life of being conquered. And you're going to see the world a certain type of way. Now, many of these groups that conquered did not like women. The word, and it's hard for me to say, it's like pedagony. Correct me if I'm wrong for people that know the words. That is a homoerotic practice that many of these conquering males had. They did not like women. You see, in Greek culture, they built statues of men with their penises out. It was a bisexual culture where it was looked at as virtuous for man to lie with man. You are literally seeing the world through a homoerotic lens. Okay? So you have the Japanese Empire. Now remember, every place before red had its own culture. After the people in red come, you no longer have your culture anymore. It's stripped from you. And now you see the world through the people that conquered you. Majority of the time, poor people. Your conquerors are poor because the ruling class of that society, they never get on the ships. They send the lower tier men out to conquer. Those lower tier men, this is their first opportunity at wealth. This is their first opportunity to have a legacy. So when they meet you with brutal practices. All right? So this is the Japanese Empire. Now I want to show you the biggest empire of them all. The British Empire. The British Empire, well, we could argue United States, but the British Empire in recorded history is the biggest empire of all. And when the British Empire conquered you, they put you in their religion. What was their religion? Because for a time, I believe the church moved from Rome to England, I believe. King James is from England, I believe, right? Again, these are men that are very homoerotic. Laying with women was looked at as unclean because of their interpretation of scripture. We're going to get into that in a second to find out if the Bible really says that a woman's true nature is to be submissive. The reason why we got to get into the Bible is because even though you people are acting as if you left the church, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. You didn't leave the concepts. You brought it with you. You brought the concepts from your Bible and your Quran into your Afrocentrism. You brought the concepts of your Quran and your Bible into your New Age philosophy. So you don't go to the church no more, but you still see women the same exact way though. So you put everything down but that. You claim that you're against white supremacy. Really? If you are against white supremacy, how come you haven't put every single thing about white supremacy down, even the way that you look at the woman? Huh? So you want to put white supremacy down, the parts that you dislike, but you want to keep the part that benefits you, like putting a bitch in her place. I got you. I got you. Don't be fake. If you're going to put white supremacy down, like you claim that you want to, that you claim you are, and if white supremacy is the problem, then why is it okay for you to see women in a white supremacist lens? Because the roles that you say are natural to a woman are through a white supremacist production. That is not an indigenous way to look at a woman. If so, what culture? Is it Iroquois? Is it Choctaw? Huh? Is it Aztec? Is it Mayan? The way that you see a woman, you're so pro-black, right? What culture is that way that you see your woman in? What indigenous tribe practice the way that you see women? Tell me. I like to learn. Show me the book. Show me the documentary. I call bullshit. You niggas don't want to replace white supremacy. You just want to replace white boys so you can sit right in that seat and do the same exact thing. Yeah. You don't want to get rid of white supremacy, niggas. You want to do the same exact thing. That's why when white boys commit crimes, you're upset that you can't commit the same fucking crime. Well, but if we did it, you don't talk about that with money. You talk about that with the lowest common denominator of behavior, the derelict behavior, the upside down behavior. You want to be white men. Keep it a stack. But I got you. I'm going to dig in your chest because we got to keep it a buck and keep it real, right? Too much fake stuff. So again, are you seeing submissive? Are you seeing the women that you claim to love, that you claim to provide and protect for? Are you seeing them through a white supremacist lens, or are you seeing them through an indigenous lens? What do I mean by indigenous? First Nations people. Huh? Is that a African way to see the woman? You pro-black, right? You Pan-African, right? Okay. So this is the British Empire. Now remember, everywhere in red, there was a culture before the Brits came. Remember that. Okay? Remember that. And remember that it is a known fact that in European culture, it was very acceptable for men to lie with men. But they lied with men with the premise that the woman was unclean because of this ideal of original sin. And whether you know it or not, you are repeating this concept of original sin about this woman talking to this supposed serpent. We'll get into that too, because you don't even know what the serpent means. And you don't even know the book that you're reading. All right? First and foremost, if a Baphomet image scares you, then you can't read the Bible. You actually think that people boarded ships with lions and tigers and bears and was floating on the water, and they didn't get eaten by the lions and tigers and bears. Got you. So this is the British Empire. Remember, they have a thing that is allowing them to conquer. Let's find out what that thing is. You with me? Today we're talking about submissive woman, but I got to walk it down. I'm not going to give you talking points because true consciousness, where we came from, we had to sit at lectures for 7 and 8 hours. We had to look up words. We had to go spend our money on thick ass books. We didn't have talking points. We didn't have YouTube personalities and influencers. No, we actually had to study to show thyself approved. And that's what we're going to do today. So how is that British Empire able to expand the way that it was? Let's find out. Let's find out. Oh, gunpowder. Gunpowder. Gunpowder changed the nature of war. Gunpowder is the reason why you think the woman is naturally submissive. Gunpowder. Because those that had the gun was going to war with those that had a spear and those that had a knife. Gunpowder changed warfare. Right? Gunpowder was invented in 19th century China as one of the 4 great inventions and spread throughout most parts of Eurasia by the end of the 13th century. Originally developed by the Taoists for medical purposes, gunpowder was first used for warfare around 904 AD. 904 AD. Interesting. I got one better for you than gunpowder, though, because it just ain't gunpowder that conquers a civilization. I'm going to put something on your plate you probably never even thought about. So, gunpowder. So every time you think a woman is submissive, think about guns. Now, there's also a book called Guns, Germs, and Steel, right? How the people that were working with better technology was able to conquer those people still caught in the Bronze Age. But there's something else that's more efficient, or there's something that you can add to development of guns and weaponry. It's probably a word that you never used before. Let me show you. You with me? There's another word that I want to tell you about. So we got into gunpowder. So we know that gunpowder was first used around 904 AD. That's a long time. That's over 1,000 years ago. 2,000 years ago. No, over 1,000 years ago. 1,500 years ago. All right? So there's something else, though. And you probably never even thought of this. So every time you say what a woman's role is and blah, 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 I want you to think about gunpowder, and I want you to think about this right here. Something that you probably never thought about. The word that I want to tell you is ballistics. Ballistics. Because it's not just gunpowder that conquered people. It's ballistics. The study of ballistics changed the nature of warfare forever. The study of ballistics is the reason why Zulu soldiers could not beat the European. Because ballistics is a science. What is ballistics, though? How does it work? So now you have gunpowder, and then you have ballistics. Now, imagine this. The indigenous population, when they seen guns go off, muskets go off, do you know they associated the European with a god? They associated the woman with the use of gunpowder with the return of gods, because the indigenous were very superstitious people. That's one of the reasons it was easier to conquer them, because they looked at their technology as advanced from some extraterrestrial world. What is ballistics? Ballistics is the field of mechanics concerned with launching, flight behavior, and impact effects of projectiles, especially ranged weapons, munitions such as bullets, unguided bombs, rockets, or the like. Okay? The science of an art of designing and accelerating projectiles as to achieve a desired performance. Ballistics is a science. Look at this, for example. Look at how it works. This changes the way of warfare. Ballistics changes the nature of how human beings go at each other. Look at that. You're able to attack an enemy far with precision, though. No longer do you have to engage in hand-to-hand combat. The samurai, some of the world's most superior warriors, could not compete with gunpowder and ballistics. You see the movie Last Samurai with Tom Cruise. So you have gunpowder, you have ballistics, and you have one of the other things that I didn't put on the screen, but the penis. Because one of the ways to change a culture is to breed out the generation before them. That is another act of warfare. Semen is an act of warfare. So you don't have to necessarily kill the people with gunpowder or ballistics. Another way is to put your seed in their women. And the natural thing for a woman is to survive. So she's going to assimilate with whatever culture is winning. The men don't have that luxury. Usually your head would get found on a pike. So you have gunpowder, you have ballistics, and you have the penis. This is the reason why, these are a few reasons why you think the woman is submissive. How did it get like that? And I'm just saying, for some people that claim they're anti-white, you sure do talk white. For some people that claim they are anti-religion, you sure do talk religion. For some people that claim they are anti-white supremacy, you sure do see the world through a white supremacist lens. So do your research on ballistics. It's actually an art to it. All right? The indigenous tribes of the world had no chance. That is the only reason the Native American lost, the African lost, the Pygmy lost, the Samurai lost, because of gunpowder. Y'all with me? Press 1 in the chat if you're enjoying yourself, because we're going to get into it. Now I want to go to the place that people love to go, but they don't admit that they love to go. I want to get into that Bible. I need to go to this Bible, because I need to get into this Bible to really figure out if the woman is naturally, by nature, that means she was born that way. If the woman was naturally submissive, then how can we argue about it? We can't argue about a woman's period because that's natural. We can't argue about a woman going number 1 and number 2. That's natural. When a woman has a child, she produces milk out of her titties. That is natural. I can't argue that away. Even if I conquer that woman, she still gets a period. Even if I conquer that woman, milk still comes out of her breast. She still has the ability to laugh and experience anger. Not just the white woman, the black woman, the Asian woman, the Japanese woman, the Chinese woman, the Mongolese woman. That is woman's nature. Every single woman on the planet has a period in common. It does not matter what culture they come from. That is what they got on arrival from the human meat suit. So how do y'all talk about woman's nature? And you're incorrect. What you're talking about is societal conditioning, because each one of those women that get their periods, they live in a culture that has rules. And whoever controls the technology controls the rules. So let's get into the Bible, because information is a form of technology. And these people, they are drawing from this ideal from the first few books of Genesis. They really believe that a woman was talking to a snake, an actual snake, and that Jesus had to come back to redeem fallen humanity because of original sin. But nobody ever asked, how old was Adam and Eve? What if they was 10 years old? What if they was 12? Do you mean to tell me the entire world has been cursed because of the decisions of a 10-year-old and a 12-year-old? Really? Are we teaching our children that people talk to snakes? Are we teaching our children that because someone did something 1,000,000 years ago, that you need a redeemer? Why don't we just read the book for ourselves and see what it says? We're competent. We're smart. Why don't we just read it for ourselves? Because I want to know like you want to know. Because I'm curious. Ain't y'all curious? See, I want to take it from the second chapter of Genesis. We're going to do a little reading over here, ladies and gents. See, this is what I was taught when I was sitting at the feet of the people that I consider master teachers. We had to do things like read books. We had to do things like get library cards. Back in the day, if you was a 5% and they asked you, what was the science, God? What's today's mathematics? If you couldn't answer, you got your teeth knocked out because knowledge wasn't to be played with. You couldn't fake jacks out here, man. So I want to take it from the second book of Genesis, right? Because this is where a woman, this is where she gets her nature from, right? Okay. So let's take it from the second chapter of Genesis, verse 16. So you can read it by yourself, right? And I'm going to fuck your mind up so crazy. And the Lord God commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden thou may freely eat, but of the tree of knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat of it. For in the day that thou eatest thereof, thou shalt surely die. Okay? And the Lord God said, it's not good that man be alone. I will make him a helpmeet. And out of the ground the Lord God formed every beast of the field and every fowl of the air, and brought them unto Adam to see what he would call them. And whatsoever Adam called every living creature, that was the name thereof. And Adam gave the names to the cattle, and to the fowl of the air, to every beast of the field. But for Adam there was not found a helpmeet. And the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept, and took one of his ribs and closed the flesh instead of thereof. First off, if we are descendants of Adam, why am I not missing a rib? That's basic. If we are all descendants of this original man right here, I should be missing a rib, and I'm not. I have all of them. I'm just saying. Anyway, and the rib which the Lord God had taken from man made he a woman, and he brought her unto man. And Adam said, this is now bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she is taken out of the man. Interesting. Even though women have kids. Anyway, therefore shall a man leave his father and mother and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. That didn't make any sense because there's supposedly no humans on earth. Let me stop and get to my point. Anyway, and they were naked, the man and his wife, and were not ashamed. But why would you be ashamed to be naked with your wife? Anyway, moving right along. I want to go to where I need to go to. Now listen. Here's where it gets real interesting, all right? Chapter 3, Genesis. Here's where it gets real interesting. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which the Lord God had made. And he said unto the woman, Yea, hath God said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden. Right? Now I want you to notice something. The serpent is having a conversation with the woman, and the so-called God was having a conversation with Adam. Right? The serpent never talks to Adam, and the God never talks to woman, right? So what we're about to see is two different polarities going on, all right? And the woman said unto the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God hath said, Ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die, right? And the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die. Listen to this. The serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die. For God doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be wise as gods, knowing good and evil. Right? And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and the tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof and did eat, and gave also to her husband with her, and he did eat. Who married these people? How did they get married? Anyway, and the eyes of them were both opened, and they knew that they were naked, and they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons. Question: when is the woman submissive? I don't hear anything yet about a woman being submissive. I'm waiting for that. I wonder when the first mention of submission comes for the woman. When is it? Because right now I should see it. It should already talk about the behavior of the first woman in the world. It does not tell you the behavior of the first woman. Eve is the first woman. So what is the nature of a woman? We're just making this shit up as we go. And they heard the voice of the Lord God walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Lord amongst the trees of the garden. And the Lord God called upon unto Adam and said unto him, Where art thou? Like, do you... Did God really say, Where art thou? This is not fucking Romeo and Juliet play, man. Did the Lord really walk through the garden and say, Where art thou? Really? And y'all really be in these comment sections talking about what women role is? And Shakespeare penned this shit? And he said, I heard thy voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, and I hid myself. And he said, Who told thee thou wast naked? Hast thou eaten of the tree where I've commanded thee thou shouldest not eat? Hold on. This is the first man that ever existed, according to scripture, according to you religious people, right? When the Lord asked him, how does he know he's naked? What's going on here? What did he say? And the man said, the woman who thou hast given me, she gave me of the tree and I did eat. Hold on. is the first man that ever existed ducking accountability? Adam is the first man that ever existed. He is the example for all men, right? And when it's time to stand up to God and say, you know what, this whole thing is my fault, he said, it's the woman. It's the woman's fault. It's the same thing that you niggas blame on women right now. You really got the nerve to say that women kicked you out for welfare. Do you know what welfare was in the 60s and the 70s? It was like $30, man. What you're saying is you came home from work with your pail and your hard hat, and you try to open up the door, and the door was locked. And you looked through the window, and she was like, hell no, you can't come in. With your babies in there? And you didn't kick the door down in your house? The man does not have to be accountable for shit. You cannot build a civilization when men have weak shoulders. I live by the motto, if it happened around me, it's my fault, even if it ain't. Some way, somehow, I was there for a reason. And if it happened on my watch, it's my fault. Period. Even when it ain't. Yeah, it sucks being a man. It's trash. You can't afford no mistakes. You can't afford to do dumb shit because the world saves women and children, not men. Men, you out here on your own. It's trash. It sucks. I know. But with that is high risk, high reward, though. High risk, high reward. This is considered the first man that ever existed. And he blamed the woman. The Hebrew Israelites blame the woman. The society blames the woman for everything and lets the men off the hook. And young boys are failing. Young boys don't want responsibility. Come on, man. He was told by this God, don't do that. She wasn't. The God never had a conversation with her because the woman is connected to the serpent for a reason. And we'll find out what the serpent is. Let's get back into it. And the Lord God said unto the woman, what is this thou hast done? And the woman said, the serpent beguiled me, and I did eat it. And the Lord God said unto the serpent, so God is talking to a snake, dude. Wow. Okay. And the Lord God said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly thou shalt go, and thus shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. Stop it right there. You know damn well this is not a snake. Because if it was a snake, then it was walking upright at this time, because upon thy belly that it shall go. So that means it wasn't on his belly before. Then what is it? What is it? If it's about to go on his belly, then what was it on before? Serpent is symbolic of something. And look, it's getting cursed. How does an animal know it's cursed? You need human awareness to know blessings and curses. Look, and I will put an enmity between thee and the woman, because the serpent and the woman have a connection, and I will show you in a second. And I will put enmity and enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed, and it shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. Listen to this, y'all. Now the woman is being cursed. Notice, she doesn't have a name. She's just the woman. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. Hold on. Hold on. So before the woman is cursed, the husband did not rule over the wife. Right here in the scriptures, the woman being under the husband comes after she's cursed. So that is a lie when y'all tell me and y'all tell the world that the original nature of a woman is to be submissive to a man. That is not true. And those that talk about scripture, that's scripturally not true. Because the woman does not become under the man until she is cursed. So when even you women that talk about this shit, what you're doing is you're just lazy. Fuck that. And I'm going to show you, if you don't get your act together, there's other women that don't go by this Negro logic. And they are going to extinct you and your babies because they're not playing. They're getting their hands dirty and they get into this money. While you want to rest in your femininity. That is nigga shit. And white liberal women talking to you like that. How the hell can the people that say they come from generational poverty, how can you rest in anything? How can the people that say that they're so-called oppressed, what are you doing resting? Then you ain't oppressed. Because if you're oppressed, you ain't got no time to rest. Your feet got to move like Fred Flintstone starting that whip. Stop it, 5. We'll rest in our femininity. But the Chinese woman is working on Christmas and on Thanksgiving when they come to America while you're resting in your femininity. Everything in nature works, yo. Everything works. The ants work. The bees work. The birds work. Animals work. Everybody grinds. Period. Until you die. Because the true curse and the fall of man is being on earth, period. That is our fall. Being here, living life is the fall of man. This is hell. Being here is hell. That is the fall of man. Every time you have a baby, the earth cringes. Nature cringes. You think the earth wants you to keep having babies? The more babies you have, the more the earth hurts. We're literally a curse to the fucking planet. Get out of here with this crazy thinking. It's first world. You'll never live in a third world talking about, I'm resting in my femininity. That's some American shit. But I guarantee you, as we keep going into this financial reset, everybody's going to get a little uncomfortable because after they pass this next stimulus, you're about to see inflation, the likes of Venezuela and Greece, which you know about milk and bread, $12. Oh, yeah. Your spending power is about to go to shit. Let's see who's resting then. Everybody gonna be like, yo, what's the play? What's the play? What's the play? What's the play? What's the plug? Even Bill Gates, as rich as hell, he's still grinding. He's trying to depopulate the world. He's still grinding. How the hell do the most oppressed people, according to y'all, the most oppressed, marginalized, Jim Crow, how are you the most discriminated people, according to you? If this is true, then how the hell do we have the mindset that we have? All right. So now, chapter 3, verse 16. You see that the woman, she is not submissive, or the husband does not rule over the wife until she's cursed. So anyone saying that wives submit to your husbands, that is from a curse. Because we only submit to truth. That is it. We don't submit to body parts. We submit to what's right and exact. Man, women, and children. We submit to truth. Truth. With an F. Truth. Let's read verse 16 again. Until the woman, he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband. And what happens? The husband shall rule over thee. Until this verse, the husband does not rule over the woman. Thorns and thistles shall bring forth to thee, and thou shalt eat of every... Oh, hold on. I want to show you something though. Right? You remember when the serpent told Eve, you will not die, you will become like gods, knowing good and evil? Guess what happens here? God confirms it. And behold, the man has become one of us to know good and evil. And now at least he put forth his hand and take also of the tree of life and eat and live forever. And live forever. What you see here is, listen, the woman is of the serpent. The man is of the tree of life. What is the difference? I'm going to show you. I got you, my peoples. I'm going to show you. Y'all with me? Y'all good? Let me check on y'all in the chat. Y'all straight? Listen to what I'm saying. The woman is of the serpent. The man is of the tree of life. The serpent did not talk to so-called Adam. It talked to Eve. All right? Two different things going on. The serpent is not bad. The serpent is used for a reason. Because the serpent is ancient. Wait, before I get into that, let me get into this. No, let me get into the serpent. Let's get into the serpent a little bit. Everybody uses the serpent. The serpent is older than that story. You see the serpent everywhere. You see the serpent on the medical symbol. This is called the staff of Hermes or the caduceus. The serpent represents that energy going up your spine. It is called Kundalini. The serpent that was talked about in Genesis was talking about a concept. The woman is connected to the serpent, the unseen world. The man is connected to the seen world. This is why we are all about objects, things, and stuff. Remember, the woman reached her hand for the tree of knowledge. Knowledge isn't physical. Knowledge is something on the inside of us. The man is of the tree of life. The man is all about physical. Two deities in that creation story, having two different conversations with two different species. Look at all around the world, the symbol being used. See, show you some more of the symbol. Show you some more of the symbol. The symbol was never negative. See. Let me see. Hold on. Woman is submissive. Right? Everybody uses the serpent, yo. Everybody uses the serpent. You've been thinking this whole time this serpent in Genesis was no. You just got here. You're looking at the world through a production. We live in an ancient world. Ancient civilizations rise and fall, ladies and gentlemen. What you think you know, you don't know. So when you are talking this submissive shit about women, you are only spitting out a curse, because you cannot build a civilization while someone is being submissive. You need both of your minds working equally. Notice I said both of your minds. Men, women, and children submit to one thing and one thing only, and that is truth. Whatever is truth, it does not matter about personality. It does not matter about feelings. Truth is truth. That's what we submit to. We submit to what works and what does not. 1 + 1 is 2. And it's interesting the fact that people are having conversations about femininity and masculinity, and you're not even using the Kabbalion to talk about gender. We made up masculinity and femininity. Men don't produce masculinity as a hormone. Women don't produce femininity as a hormone. Men produce testosterone. Women produce estrogen. We both have a little bit of us in it, of each in us. We made up masculinity and femininity. Them is human creations for social descriptions of behavior. We actually talk about like it's real. Magnetism is real. Electricity is real. If I tell you to do an experiment, a science experiment, you cannot use masculine and feminine energy for shit. That is not going to power a light bulb. You can't use masculine and feminine energy to dam water. Conduct a science experiment in it. What do I do to generate masculine energy? I can do like this and generate friction. And then I can touch you and electrocute you. If the masculine and femininity were real like you claim, we should be able to conduct an experiment with it. How? What would we use? How does the people that claim they are oppressed and claim they are marginalized because of Jim Crow, because of racist policies, y'all sure do have free time for some oppressed people, I'll tell you that. Because people that claim that they're oppressed, claim that the system is rigged, I would expect them to move with a sense of urgency. Let's get more into that serpent, though. What is it? Do a little bit of reading real quick, right? Because again, we want to study to show thyself approved. Because you see that the serpent is having a conversation with the woman, never the man. The serpent is connected to the woman. And the other deity is connected to the man. We are different. We are. That is true. But one of us is winning the war and one of us isn't. Okay? I'm just going to read a little bit about this serpent so we can get out of spooky stuff. All right? The serpent, ancient symbol of wisdom and fertility, but in Christianity turned into a symbol of evil, the devil, and Satan. The serpent is a favorite shape-shifting form of the devil and the jinn. The serpent is one of the oldest, most universal, and most revered symbols in mythology. Although negative associations exist, the serpent is predominantly associated with what? Wisdom, enlightenment, immorality. I'll get into that in a sec. Healing, renewal, magic, guardianship of hidden treasure. Numerous deities have been associated with serpents. What is the serpent predominantly associated with again? Wisdom, enlightenment, immorality. Why immorality? Because the people that put morality on you are usually those that conquer you, because he who controls morality controls the behavior of the people. I don't want to hear black men talk shit about black women being submissive, especially when I could pull up images of American lynching. Let's just all keep it moving and sweep that part of history under the rug. Because how could you demand a person be under you and you're under somebody? Make that make sense. So on one hand, the man that says that he's oppressed, this is what you say. The man that says he's oppressed, the man that says he's marginalized and the system is rigged against him, wants another human being to be underneath you. Can you break down a particle? Can you look up in the sky and tell what time it is with no watch? Can you read signs and symbols and know when the seasons are going to change? Do you know the 3 places that Hiram Abiff was hit and why? Do you know how to get Hiram Abiff out the grave? If so, how? Have you been tried, denied, and are you willing to be tried again? But you want submissiveness because you have a penis. But we just read that a woman being submissive is a curse to her. So you screaming submissiveness, you can't love your wifey because we just read that where the shit comes from. That is a curse. Nah. You want to move as a tandem, and you're going to need it because where we're going in the world, So I'm not going to read this whole thing about submissiveness. I'm not going to read this whole thing about the serpent. You get the drift. Right? You get my drift. Serpents are very powerful in ancient culture. They're powerful symbols. All right? Let me see. Don't worry. So I'm going to get off that because I got a lot of things to cover. But the serpent is not evil at all. The woman represents the serpent, the unseen. The man represents the seen. Two different deities, two different polarities, nuts and pussy, testosterone and estrogen. All right. I want to get into something else though, because I keep telling y'all that y'all live in a production. Now I want to show you how much of a production that you live in. See, you just going about the world just hunky-dory. You inherited. Let me show you something again. Let me go back to the beginning. Let me show you something. Remember this? This is the British Empire. So even though you come from a slave history, the crumbs of the conquering males trickle down to you. So how he treats his woman, you also treat your woman. And you see your woman the same way. You inherited the perks of conquering males. You didn't have to do the conquering. So when you're talking about what a man is and what a man isn't, you're actually getting too big for your britches. Because that is the talk of a violent male, of a male that has the ability to go to other males, dominate him, and convert him, his woman, into his ways of thinking. An assimilating male can't talk like that. But you got the ability right now to do manifest destiny. You could pack up right now, go to another country, and in 100 years be dominating. You ain't about that. You only go to Brazil to have sex. You ain't going to Brazil and DR to conquer and put manifest destiny down and lay your game down. You go to Brazil and you still and do videos about black women while you're 14 hours away. How lame is that? Who spends $2,500 for on a trip to be talking about the people thousands of miles away? If you really macking, then you go to other places and you plant your flag and you make connections and contacts. Because if Brazilian women was what you say they was, Brazilian men would kill you. So they must just be like every other woman in the world. They not shit to Brazilian men, but for you niggas, they're everything. Typical. Other men's trash of women seem to be the women that you niggas fall head over heels with. That's how it goes, huh? But if you really macking, then you would do everything you see in red. You would go to another place and breed a certain way and create culture. You will put the people there into your way of thinking. You would make them worship your gods. You would have them sing American rap songs and rap verses. You would put hip hop right on their head because that's your culture, niggas. That's what you come from. You would import American goods and shove it down their throat and sell it. You get Air Force Ones for the low and have everybody in the favela rocking them shit. And then when you die, they'll build a statue of you. And then your sons will take over. That's how you do it. But you don't want empire. You want to have sex. And to keep it a stack, I really know why you niggas go to Brazil, because a lot of the women do anal. Somebody hit the Cash App with the dub, man. Some 20s to just flow into my collection plate. So I'm cooking. Let's get back to this. Huh. You never heard this, huh? You didn't know about this, huh? Oh, you didn't know that before male deities existed, you didn't know that female deities was the primary deity, huh? Oh, you didn't know this, huh? The woman is the woman is millions of years old. What are y'all talking about? The woman. You talk like women just got here. They're old. They've been here. You're taking a small sample size of history and saying that's what's natural. You don't even know. You're only 30. You just got here. Let's get into this game. In her groundbreaking 1976 book, When God Was a Woman, historian Merlin Stone traces ancient worship of goddess back to the Paleolithic and Neolithic ages. Hold on. I don't hear none of you manosphere. I don't hear Kevin Samuels. I don't hear none of you niggas say words like Paleolithic. Y'all talking about high value men. And I'm sorry, dumbass broads be calling that phone. I'll never be a woman I fuck with. We don't listen to nerds. You can have money and still be lame. We from the mud, man. We from the trenches. Nobody gonna tell us what high value is. Let me tell you something. You come from a broken home. You come from poverty. You able to make it out and make something of yourself and shake off childhood trauma. Your ass is high value like a motherfucker. Fuck what these nerds talking about. If you had government cheese, your mom was on welfare. If you come from any of that stuff and you able to stand on your own two right now and you got your own shit, it might not be the car that you want. It might not be the crib that you want. If you're able to come from the trenches and have your own stuff, man, that's high value. Don't let these people finesse you and trick you and put you in another type of production. They're not even in alignment with the Aquarius age. And we're going to get into that in a second. But I'm not trying to hear nobody tell me about the role of a woman and the role of a man. Where are you pulling this from? Are you using words like Paleolithic and Neolithic? Come through, Ken, with the vocab. Come through. In the Near and Middle East, she writes, we can find evidence the development of religion of the female deity in this area was intertwined with the earliest beginnings of religions so far discovered anywhere on earth. The goddess was unquestionably the supreme deity to rule them all. Creator and lawmaker of the universe, prophetess, provider of human destinies, inventor, healer, hunter, valiant, leader in battle. This is what the archaeologists are finding. The paleontologists are finding. Come on now. Not talking heads. It's worth noting that many anthropologists believe these upper Paleolithic societies are likely to have followed a matrilineal structure, meaning women held supreme status at the center of the household. Hold on. So archaeologists and paleontologists are people that study old shit. They study bones. They study pottery and tools. They study the way that human beings lived thousands of years ago. Do you think that I'm going to take my information of what men and women do based from people that aren't talking from the scientific perspective? You niggas need to be told you're high value because you're lacking confidence. You need to see a person drag a woman through the mud so you feel good about yourself. That is the Trump effect. Let me throw these niggas on the bottom of bone. But where we come from, you study to show thyself approved. You don't listen to talking heads. Let's read that part again. It's worth noting that many anthropologists believe these upper Paleolithic societies are likely to have followed a matrilineal structure, meaning women held supreme status at the center of the household. Hold on. Supreme status. Supreme, though? Interesting. Stone explains that these communities revered ancestor worship, whereby the concept of the creator of all human life may have been formulated by the clan's image of the woman who had been their most ancient primal ancestor. This is not my opinion. Notice, I am not giving you my opinion. I'm giving you what the data suggests. What we are under is a concept and a belief called phallic worship, when the deities became male. So Yahweh, Allah, that is the worship of the phallic. And let me show you again, empires. This is the British Empire. Everywhere in red, wherever the British went with spreading their empire and spreading their culture, the role of women in those societies changed. And the European has a history of homoerotic behavior. That is not my opinion. That is a fact. And they felt that it was unclean to lie with women. Women couldn't even talk in temples. The longest war on earth is between men and women. And let me tell you something. Nature has a funny sense of humor. The residual and counter effect of phallic worship has produced the transgender. The transgender and the explosion of the homosexual community is the woman's revenge on the male. Take that. Look at your sons. Take that. You have no place in society now. Take that. You can't get a job in retail because it's held by a gay man. Take that. That is the woman's revenge on the male. You see? Everywhere in red is the British Empire. And when everywhere in red was touched, the society changed. You see? Life got a funny way of flipping back around, huh? But I want to read this again, though. Stone explained these communities revered ancestor worship. Listen to this. whereby the concept of the creator of human life may have been formulated by the clan's image of the woman who had been their most ancient primal ancestor. In other words, the divine ancestress. Indeed, anthropologists studying the rites and rituals of Paleolithic communities over the last 2 centuries have discovered countless stone figurines of pregnant women across Europe, the Middle East, and India, some dating back to 25,000 BC, that point to the worship of the divine feminine. This is not my opinion. This is not my opinion. But I'm going to tell you something. A lot of this is women's fault. A lot of this is women's fault. Yes, it is. The reason why this is women's fault is because women don't engage in philosophy. The women in the girl chat are not engaging with complex topics. So this is why you get caught in this paradigm right here, because you're not engaging in philosophy. You're engaging in gossip. Look at the Shade Room. The Shade Room is a site for women. What do they talk about? That is the dumbing down of a group of people. So the reason why the narrative is the way it is because y'all allow it. Look at that statue. Look at that. That's old. Let me read a little more. During this period in the ancient world, worship of female deities was widespread and immensely powerful. But it was with the advent of agriculture after the Paleolithic age that goddess worship really started to take off. Statuettes from that period representing the mother goddess have cropped up in Canaan, now Palestine, Israel, and Anatolia, now Turkey, and goddess figurines have appeared all over the Neolithic communities of Egypt dating back to 4000 BC. The deifications of goddesses in the ancient world were variations on a theme, writes Lynn Rogers and Edgar Casey, and the eternal feminine, with representations of a supreme female creator in Sumer, Egypt, Crete, Greece, Ethiopia, Libya, India, Elam, Babylon, Anatolia, Canaan, Ireland, Mesopotamia, and even ancient Judah and Israel. But there could be no doubt that she was a mythologist. But there was, as mythologist Robert Graves describes it, immortal, changeless, omnipotent. Isn't this the characteristics they give of the male deity right now? So the supreme female deities thousands of years ago had these characteristics right here: immortal, changeless, omnipotent. Interesting. Take a drink of water real quick. While I'm taking a drink, go ahead. 10 people hit the Cash App with that dime. 10 people put $10 in the Cash App. That's not a donation. That's a payment for ism, for gain. Fair exchange, no robbery. I could be coming with the fuck women campaign. You wouldn't like it. It'd be bad if a nigga like me was on that side. Let me see. So this is a long article. Y'all should check it out. This is a Vice article about when God was a woman. Y'all should check that out. Very, 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 very dope. And it's not based on opinions. It's based on fossils. It's based on archaeology and paleontology, right? So y'all make sure y'all check that out. Moving right along. Let me check on y'all in the chat, man. Let me make sure y'all good? Y'all straight? You learning something? Press 1 if you're enjoying yourself, man. Part of the interesting thing about a lot of these conversations about submissiveness and men and women, it has not upgraded with the times that we're in. And what I mean by that is a lot of the conversations that are occurring, there are ideals that come from the Pisces age. But we're in the Aquarius age. What do you mean by that, Ken? Well, let's find out. What is the Pisces age? What is the Aquarius age? Let's find out. Shouldn't we be transcending our ideals? Huh? Shouldn't we be evolving with our perspectives and our narratives? How come it seems like we're scaling backwards? Our technology is moving faster than our narrative is. We seem to be very much stuck, and we really don't know what to do with the devices in our hands. Okay. We really don't know what to do with all this information that we have at our disposal. We don't know what to do. Let's get into it. Age of Pisces versus Age of Aquarius, a journey into collective transcendence. The age of Pisces has shaped human history for around 2,000 years and is slowly coming to an end as the age of Aquarius takes its turn. There is no firm consensus among astrologers as to when the age of Pisces began, and even less to when it ends exactly. But what is certain is the transition between these two astrological ages has already started. And one of its biggest aspects is the battle between science and religion that has marked the development of human society for the past centuries. The age of Pisces defines the time where human beings engage more than ever in the matters of the soul. The ideals of human transcendence, dissolution of self, and the connection to a higher ideal consolidated in the collective consciousness and took shape in various forms. The birth of Jesus Christ, the founding of the church, and establishment of one of the fundamental religion were a few great marks of this time, which influence human life today. Facts. The energy of Pisces brought to life the notions of forgiveness, empathy, innocence, love, and devotion. It established the belief in a higher force and the search for a connection to something greater than itself. The conception of good and bad, heaven and hell, and sin and sacrifice shaped the meaning of spirituality in a completely new way. But the fight for the dissolution of the ego and the higher ideals are not only the thing Pisces represents. In the search for transcendence hides the search for escape. Pisces, in its darker form, can lead to loss of the sense of reality, self-destruction, drug abuse, alcoholism, or any other addiction focused on escapism. Religious fanaticism and intolerance gain force, and the ideal of guilt and suffering settled as synonymous for spirituality. The age of Aquarius symbolizes the time of discovery, innovation, and progress. It represents the thirst for change and the longing for a better future. Ruler of the collective, Aquarius speaks of the humanitarian ideals, cooperation, and brotherhood. It also rules the realms of the personal and collective mind, the searching and sharing of information, and the fight for personal and intellectual freedom. Many of you are going that right now. You coming out of old ideals into new ones. You dropping old habits and picking up new habits. Old belief systems that you grew up with and you were taught you don't have anymore. And you're coming into new ideals. Mm-hmm. For the last centuries, the Aquarian energy has been gaining force, which can be seen in many moments of human history, like the French Revolution in 1789, bringing the progressive ideals of freedom, brotherhood, equality into form. The storming of Bastille in 1789 symbolizes the breaking of, that doesn't matter. At the same time, science has begun developing in a faster rate each year and has already completely changed societal structures. Technological advancement permitted the invention of machines. Internet opened a full range of new possibilities for social connection. Social media completely changed the way beings, they spelled that wrong, the way human beings interact. And globalization may be one of the greatest marks of this age. Moreover, collective thinking and technological advancement are contributing to the fight against social and economic inequality, and the fight for expression and freedom of identity has opened the door for more diversity and acceptance. But the fight for freedom also pays a price. On the dark side of the Aquarian age lies disorder, rebellion, breaking the rules, skepticism, and the change above everything mentality. The current growth of progressive thinking has created a countercurrent of conservatism, discrimination, and religious fanaticism, and the obsession with technological advancement has also brought negative consequences to the world we live in. Let me see. Oh, this last paragraph. In final words, the transition of the age of Pisces to the age of Aquarius represents the battles between two different systems: progressive versus tradition, mind versus soul, God versus machine. But it also represents the possibility for joining the spiritual to the collective, a time in which the longing for transcendence and divine connection surpasses the barriers of identity, race, color, and social status, to a place where all humanity may reach the internal universal connection. The reason why I read this, because when we're talking about what men and women are, we're not even in alignment with the age that we're in. Ages, if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, in cosmic time are 25,000 years. We're having Pisces conversations in an Aquarius reality. People are actually people are loyal to their talking points. It's not backed by research. It's not backed by anything. They won't even cite you where their ideal come from. They'll say science says. What science? What scientist? What magazine? What book? What publication? What do you mean by the things that you're talking about? Right? But I'm not done. I'm just really, really getting started. Because the conversations that we're having about submission and what does that look like with this that I'm about to put on the screen? So you keep talking about, submissive women and this, that, and okay, cool, I'm with you. But what does that have? How does that integrate with what I'm about to show you now? Mm-hmm. Y'all see my screen? Y'all with me? Y'all see my screen? Y'all see that? So while you're talking about submissive and this and that, while you're talking about this is what's happening. While you're talking about submissiveness. You see? While submissiveness is happening, this is happening. Now, what are you going to do about this right here? Let me make it bigger, just in case you don't know what that says. You know this is going to have an effect on you, right? Huh. Do you know this is going to have an effect on you, right? So now I have to ask the men, what exactly do you mean by submissive? What do you mean by that? What does that mean? That a woman should just follow you just because, even if what you say is not founded on any righteousness or truth or research? Is it because you're a male? What if you're completely wrong? You want the woman to co-sign that? Because what we're talking about too is this high value man shit. See, the thing about the high value man conversation is whoever these mystical high value men is, they're not watching their content because aren't they busy building, right? So who is watching the high value man conversation? Low value men, right? And those low value men have the nerve to talk about a woman with a PhD. Those low value men, who is the base of that content, are talking about, we just want a woman to be feminine and fit and friendly, and we don't care about how smart she is. Okay. But what about this headline that 11 million immigrants are about to become citizens? What does that mean? Hold on. Let's read it. During his first days in office, President-elect Joe Biden, this is right before the inauguration, President-elect Joe Biden plans to send a groundbreaking legislative package to Congress to address the long elusive goal of immigration reform, including what's certain to be a controversial centerpiece, a pathway to citizenships for an estimated 11 million immigrants who are in the country without legal status, according to human rights activists in communication with the Biden-Harris transition. Let me tell you what exactly that means. Let me tell you what that means. So if 11 million people, right, are going to get their citizenship, if 11 million people are going to get their citizenship, they are now able to have the same access as your children, even though they don't have necessarily the same roots as your bloodline here. The programs that your son and daughter get, they get. The benefits of being an American, they get. They also have the voting power too, right? Now, if you study immigrant behavior, what is some of the behavior that they do? They dominate in two places: sweat equity, and they dominate in institutions. So they're coming to go to school, education, the same education that we look down on, right? The same education that we say is the white man shit, right? They go and do that. And they also are willing to put in long hours. While you're resting in your femininity, the immigrant woman is coming to America for one reason and one reason only: to achieve. And they are going to push you out of the market. In 50 years, your grandchildren are going to ask an immigrant for a job. Submission, Negro talk. When niggas find out what time it is, it's always too late. When niggas find out what time it is, it's always a day late and a dollar short. You having the wrong conversation. Negro logic. Let's look at the bill again. The bill also will provide a shorter pathway to citizenship for hundreds of thousands of people with temporary protected status and beneficiaries of deferred action for childhood arrivals who are brought to the U.S. as children, and probably also for certain frontline essential workers, vast numbers of whom are immigrants. Not gonna go into that anymore. Do your own research with that. 11 million. Oh, you're going to feel this. You keep listening to these talking head niggas. You keep listen, yo, the thing about it is the majority of you all you got, yo. Y'all have to fuck with each other. You have to. You ain't got no choice. Because who else you gonna rock with? So you have to fuck with each other. You could either keep arguing about dumbass shit, or you could be like, yo, the writing is on the wall. And immigrants is going to be your worst nightmare. There's another worst nightmare, but I'm going to show you that in a second. So look, 11 million. Remember that number, because you're going to feel that shit. But I want to show you something else, though, because I be so tickled by these manosphere niggas when they having their conversation. They must don't look at the numbers. They must don't look at certain things. Well, I'm going to show you something, too. You guys good? Y'all good out there? All right. Stupid talk. I call it Negro logic, right? And honestly, man, I mean no disrespect by this, but the black man is not the leader in biology, the leader in chemistry, the leader in finance, the leader of industry and institution. I'm not listening to niggas about shit outside of dancing, rapping, and fucking. I'm not listening to niggas when it comes to certain things. When I want to be entertained and I want to dance and I want to talk about basketball and shit, then I'll listen to the niggas. But when it's time to talk about high finance, I'm just not. Because niggas is still talking about submissiveness. In 2021, in virtual reality, let me show y'all something. And I showed y'all this before. Let me show y'all something. So the same men that say high value men, they don't care about your degrees. High value men, they don't care. They just want you to look good. They don't care about none of that stuff. They just want you to look good, right? That's what the high value men say, right? They just want you to look good, be feminine and fit. All right. But high value men aren't watching that content. According to the metrics that these people talk about, who's watching this? The average African American male. Now, the household median income for the average African American household is $41,000. How do you have the nerve to say you don't care about degrees? You don't care if a woman is smart. That's dumb. Do you know what a PhD can do? Only thing you niggas care about is fucking. That's all it's about, is sex. That's it. Breeders. That's all it's about. That's all this shit is about. And then have the nerve to talk about leadership. And yo, let me tell you something. I just read the scriptures. First of all, leadership is not natural to a human being. Leadership is a science that has to be learned. A male by nature is not a leader. If that's the case, explain why so many males are getting punched in the face by other males. If the male is a natural leader, then how do you explain pussies? If the male is a natural leader, why is so many males running to gangs for protection? That ain't leadership. How is the male a natural leader but go to the military and have somebody get in their face and talk to him like shit and make them do push-ups? Leadership is not natural. You have to learn that. A child can learn it. A woman could learn it. It is a science. And basically, it's management of other people. But let me get back to this. So the men are saying that you don't want no women with degrees. But education has proven to take people out of poverty. Now, I don't want to focus on this idea of the so-called high-value men, because the average man making a lot of money is old and married. So it's not a lot of these niggas walking around. So we're having conversations about thousands of women competing for a few single niggas. Make it make sense. The average millionaire is over 50 years old. If you're making 500, so you mean to tell me it's just dudes making $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 walking around with no bitch? Y'all crazy. Trust me, if it's a dude making some money like that, it's a woman somewhere, whether he's claiming her or not. But okay. Remember I just had that conversation about immigrants? Okay. Well, look at the median household income of Indian Americans. So can the black man in America, which is right around this area, does the black man in America have time to talk about submissiveness? When the black household is on the bottom of income in the world. Not in the world, in this country. Losing the economic battle. Do we really have time to talk about relationships? Like, we're not over that. Men and women has been on the planet for millions of years. Why is it so hard to get along right now? Hey, you like me, I like you. What's up? Do we fit or not? Okay, cool. We've been doing this for millions of years. All of a sudden, men and women don't know how to talk to each other, are frustrated with each other. You've been on the planet hella long. Why you can't get along? You know why? Because you're listening to talking heads. And you're using talking points to, yeah, a woman, so feminine and sexy. And yo, we all end up ugly in the end anyway. Titties sag and nuts hang. What is this about? But look, come on. Let's do it. Let's look though. Because the black American male doesn't seem to understand that it's serious out here. And like Neely Fuller said, niggas are serious about stupid things and stupid about serious things. Right? Okay. So remember what Joe Biden is doing for immigrants, right? This is the president, the elected president. He has an immigration ideal in mind. They all do. They would like to replace America with a new set of people. People that aren't going to cry and complain. People that don't have a past in this country. People that want to come over here and pay taxes and participate in the market. While the black man who's making, hold on, now this is the median household income, 41,000, all right? That is average. That is the majority. That is the majority. Indian Americans, let's look at the numbers. Indian Americans, 126,000 median household income. Bangladeshi, 67,000. Cambodian, 72,000. Chinese American, 85,000. Taiwanese American, 102,000. Hold on. Filipino Americans, 100,000. Hold on. All these immigrants are making way more money than the black American household. So how does the black man have time to create content about his woman? The woman that let's face it, half you niggas ain't going to Brazil and DR. You gonna mess with Keisha and Latanya and Yolanda. You don't got no time to be disagreeing with her. You don't have no time to be making content about her. You don't. Look at the economic numbers based on immigrant groups in this country. You're getting killed. Japanese American, 85,000. Korean American, 76,000. But the black people in America will have the nerve to say money ain't everything. The black American in America will say it ain't all about money. The black American is even always mad at the person trying to make money. If I tell somebody to hit my cash up, niggas will go in my comment section say I'm begging. Like, how is trying to get money an insult? Money? This shit matters until it don't. But look at the immigrant groups. Look at their income, yo. Remember, I'm looking at median household income, right? And I'm comparing it to what these niggas are talking about we don't care about women with degrees. You know what I noticed though? The way the black man mates is way different than every other group mates. Let me address this too. Yeah, there are some guys around the world with means that are 60 and they wind up marrying a 25-year-old or 30-year-old. Now, why don't you tell the whole story? How his children are upset with him because the girl is the age of the grandchildren. Yeah, that's an outlier. That's an outlier. The black American male mates from the neck down. The black American male mates based on the way things look because we're a looks culture. It's all about image. Nothing else. Not intrinsic value. Not the value of a thing. What does the world show us? The world teaches us that value is on the inside of a thing. The value is on the inside of a watermelon, inside of an orange, inside of an apple. Hell, everything that comes out of that's valuable on this planet comes out of the earth. Aluminum, metal, cobalt, right? The things we use, our cell phones, that shit comes out of the ground. Now, I love the black man for crossovers and hip hop and dunking from the foul line. But when it comes to above the neck, it's only a few. It's only a few Thomas Souls running around. For the most part, I must confess, and it hurts me and pains me to say that I don't give a damn if niggas got money or not. The mindset of the black male in America is that of a boy, that of a child. And you know how I know? Because I grew up around them. And you know how long it takes us to develop? Because the males around us are focused on games and play. So we don't know any other. We see males play with women. We see males play with each other. We see males play with business. It's nothing ever serious. It's always games and play. And now we have brought games and play to the internet because the content is about nothing but entertainment. Yeah, I like to laugh and nig sometimes too, but goddamn, nigs can't nig all year. There has to be a nig threshold where we're like, yo, you know what? You know what? I nig for I didn't look. Nigs only. I'm gonna put a nig rule in. You have to nig, all right? Your nig threshold is 45 minutes a day. That's it. I have to put a law on it. It's 45 minutes now. Because we have a culture of nigging. 24/7. Niggas nig in church. The church used to be a place of fire and brimstone. Niggas do the latest dance moves in church now. Niggas nig in court. Niggas nig in every sector of life. I'm putting a nig rule in that you are only allowed any type of niggerdom for 45 minutes. 45 minutes. So spread that out wisely. 5 minutes in the morning, a little bit of kikiing and shit, right? Then split it up. Nig a little bit in the day and in the afternoon. If you spread your nigging out 45 minutes a day, I think the quality of life will be better. But I don't know. I think it's just a default setting that niggas gonna nig. Let's look at some more of these numbers though. Look at all these immigrants populations in America. They are out earning Black Americans. Out earning. Now, someone will say, yeah, because the system allows it. Maybe. But is it possible there's some cultural values that are different? Is it possible they have a different relationship to money? Is it possible? Let me go down here. Polynesians, Native Hawaiian, Samoan. I never even heard of this kind of people. Micronesian. I don't even know what kind of people that is. Micronesian. They are out earning niggas in America. Guamanian. I mean, I can't make this up. Moving right along. You could go check that out too. But based on these numbers, the Black man cannot say. And you know what's interesting is because Black people had a rich history of education. It's a shame that we've went this low, where we look down on education, where we will tell the Black woman, you got a PhD. Now somebody will say, well, that's because Black women be talking down to us. Man, I don't care what they say. They still fucking niggas. I don't care what they say on social media. They're still fucking niggas. They're still getting with Black men. Who cares what they say in message boards? Who cares? They're still fucking with niggas. Who cares? That's what we do. We talk shit. You all right? Show y'all something else. Because while we're nigging, right, there's some things that is kicking our ass. So I just showed you immigration, and I just showed you what Joe Biden is going to do with immigration, right? And you see all these immigrant groups, they're making money, hand over fist, killing shit, right? Cool. Killing shit. Killing it, right? All right. Let me show y'all something else. Here's a thing that they're not talking about. While they're talking about PhDs and women submitting, and guess what they're not talking about, ladies and gents? They're not talking about the thing that might make your baby starve to death. Your number one enemy in America is immigration and automation. Immigration and automation is the number one threat to you in America. You're not going to have a job. Robots. So while you're having conversations about feminine, you guys are talking about femininity. What the fuck is that? What is that? For the last time, femininity isn't a hormone. It's a way of thinking, and it's not exclusive to a female. Masculinity is not a hormone, and it is not exclusive to a male. It is a degree of thought. If you are creative, you can create something with a feminine perspective. That does not mean vagina. If you are a male, you could create something with a feminine perspective that does not make you gay. That means you are tapping into a pole. That is abstract thinking. That is outside the realms of binary thinking, which is either this or that. That is the way that the majority of the population have been educated, either this or that. You could only see things in that way, but it's not like that. There is abstract thought, the ability to have a conversation with a person and have 10 windows open in your mind, and to hop in a window and to access a degree of thinking and talk from that perspective. You think femininity is a look? How can it be a war on masculinity? First of all, we made this shit up. No, it's a war on water. It's a war on trees. It's a war on the African rhino and the bald eagle. They were here before we got here. Femininity and masculinity are things that came out of our head. How is it a war on masculinity? You niggas want to be important so bad. But I got a secret. The secret to being important is just be important. People want to be oppressed so bad. It's a war on me. Somebody's doing something to me. First of all, half the shit y'all talking about, you wouldn't even know if you didn't pay attention to it. You don't have to watch TV. You know that, right? Dude, look at the images on TV. Yo, cut your cable off. You don't have to, the Amish are not saying none of this. No, you need that important. You need there to be a war on you. Let me tell you something. Human civilizations rise and fall. One society replaces another. One ideal replaces another. That is the theme of humans. Now, what's your adaptability game look like? What's your adjustability game look like? Mexicans are taking our jobs. Learn Spanish. Right? But I'm telling you, though, it ain't going to help you listen to motherfuckers talking about high value men. And then how come the high value men don't have no high value hobbies with it? Fine dining does not make you high value. That makes you a consumer. Who doesn't like food? Like, we give basic shit. We elevate it. Up, cologne. Yo, anybody fence? Does anybody ride horses? What's people's stamps on their passport look like? And I'm not talking about going places to trick. Anybody speak multiple languages? Any other disciplines? Skill sets? Skills don't make you high value? This shit is weird. And y'all love it. You know why? Because niggas gonna nig. And so you go to the place where it's easy listening. You go to the place where you could turn your brain off. Ain't talking about nothing. Let me turn my brain off. The more complex the issue, the less views that it has. High value. But no high value hobbies, though. Like, do people like to do nature? Mountain climb? Like, what are the interesting things that people do? Or is it just having a job? Do you know you can be a lame with a job and a lot of money? Do you know you could be a bitch with a lame and a job and a lot of money? Do you know you could get a lot of money by getting bent over the table? Half these people have Masonic connections. That's why they have the jobs that they have. Let's keep it real. Ain't no high value because people is really out here with supreme intellect. No, motherfuckers is frat buddies. And somebody gave you a favor. Keep it a stack. Y'all hitting each other's with passwords and handshakes. That's how. But how is you high value? How is you high value and you not teaching the people though? And you took an oath. And that shit don't belong to you for real, for real. That shit got pillaged, got a tombs, and y'all done hijacked it. It don't belong to you. How is you high value and you ain't making men upright? Stop it, 5. To take a man out the gutter and give him information that now he's on a better path for himself. So that a lot of the high value, you're not keeping it real. How did you get your position? Ain't nothing wrong with a favor, but keep it a rack though. You're going to get picked before me. That's cool. That's your frat brother. That's your lodge brother. But the majority of niggas in America is in the trenches though. And everybody is capping online. Everybody got bread. Everybody's popping. Everybody's high value. Everybody's this. But if that's the case, then why are black children suffering? Why no one talk about the children though? All these women talking about resting in their femininity. Ain't nobody talking about breastfeeding though. All the women is just resting in femininity. All y'all talk about is dick. All that got to do with dick. Stop it. That ain't got to do with nothing else but cock. Nobody's breastfeeding though. Everybody's mothers and rest in my femininity and no breastfeeding though. Not none. But you leveling up, but the baby, we feeding the babies out with fucking infant milk though. Come on, man. Y'all is crazy. Y'all crazy for real. Rest in the feminine life. Femininity, they killing them. Y'all, and I'm about people getting money, but in anywhere in them courses, does it talk about breastfeeding though? What is the baby's gonna eat? What is the baby's gonna eat? I'm confused, sis. I ain't just clapping at these niggas. All y'all niggas is crazy. Straight up. How is you popping in this protect black women and this, that, and look at the shade room. Why Mona Scott don't gotta protect black women? Why black women don't gotta protect black women? You mean to tell me if I'm walking down the street with my lady and I see you getting punched in the face across the street, I'm supposed to leave my lady and go over there and defend you, and you might go back to the nigga anyway? But what if he knocks my fucking head off or shoots me or I kill him? You not about to look out for me in jail? Protect black women? What kind of black women? Who? For what? Give up my life for who? For who? I'm on your head too. For who? I'm supposed to intervene. I'm supposed to get in the middle of you and this nigga acting crazy, and this is what y'all do? You gonna go right back with him. And I'm gonna be in jail or dead fucking with this crazy nigga. But what about my lady though? Cause you ain't finna do no sisterhood with her. What about my baby? You ain't finna be auntie. Damn, that was some real shit Ken did. I'm forever in your debt. Thank you. Nah, you gonna go back to him or hop on the next nigga. Nah. So while these niggas is talking about stupid femininity, you running around talking about protect black women. For what? Like, what? No, protect black children. Hello? Hello? Protect black children. I'm a equal opportunist game spitter. Just in case you thought, oh, he's on our side. No, I'm on the other. I'm on the side of right. You know why? Because for years I've been on the other side of wrong. So I'm picking what's right. Fuck that. It ain't about me. It ain't about none. What about the youth? Let's get into this. So while these niggas, I'm back on you niggas. So while these niggas is talking about femininity and y'all niggas at more than the women. Now we talking about automation. Let's go through this real quick. 1 in 4 jobs in the United States will face a high risk of automation job displacement by 2030. 1 in 4 jobs. 70% of routine physical and cognitive tasks are jobs at risk of automation in the United States. Why y'all keep talking about black women with degrees though? 24% of U.S. jobs require a bachelor's degree, and 55% of those with lower requirements have some kind of job automation potential. The youngest workers, aged 16 to 24, face the highest average risk of automation exposure. That's 49%. 24% of jobs done by men and 17% of those done by women are at a high risk of becoming automated. Question: what are the majority of jobs that black men work in America? Can somebody put it in the chat to me? Can somebody put it in the chat? What is the majority jobs that black men work in America? Anybody? Labor, blue collar? Okay. So 24% of jobs done by men are at risk of becoming automated. So that means the black male, right, will be out of work, forced into criminal behavior, forced into the prisons, forced into savagery, right? I'm just saying, don't you think a smart individual would put his head with a smart woman to figure out a master plan? Make it work. It's not about me being over you. No, whoever got the best ideals, that's what we should do. Whoever got the best ideals. Whoever has the best ideals. That's what we should go with. All right. 1.5 million or 7.4 jobs in England are currently at risk of becoming obsolete due to automation. Yo, 1.5 is a lot. By 2030, 44% of low education workers will be at risk of technological unemployment. That's a lot of black people. Transportation, storage, and manufacturing sectors will face highest number of job loss to automation. Transportation, storage, manufacturing. All right. The education and social worker sectors have the least amount of jobs eliminated by automation. The education and social work sectors, interesting, Automation concerns. Let's keep going. 37% of people are worried about automation. 70% of people would be considered brain. More than 70% of the people would consider brain and body augmentations if it led to better job prospects in the future. I'm not going to read all this. By 2022, next year, 42% of total task hours will be completed by machines. The global sales value of service jobs in 2019 was $12 billion. Over 12 million new industrial robots will enter service between 2018 and 21. We're here now. 2 million industrial robots? Let me see. By 2030, 20 million. That's in 10 years, y'all. The global manufacturing workforce will face loss due to automation. And again, we're having conversations about what again? Submission? Submission? I'm going to get off that for a sec. So look in automation. I'm just walking this shit down because this is dumb. Y'all better work together or not. Or not. Y'all better figure it out. Because, for real, black men, women of other races that are quality, that are not poor, they're not fucking with you like that. And black women, that black man, that's your guy. Now, some people can divest, and if you can, do that shit. But don't divest. And look, check this out. Look, don't divest and make black content. If I divest, I'm staying over there. If I divest from you niggas, I'm gone. I'm talking about general things that people in general can use. Soft skills, enthusiasm. Summer, it's easy. It's easy. Let me tell you why it's easy. Do you like me? Yes or no? Remember we was in school? It's that easy. Right? You deal with the bad shit first. Tell me all the bad shit about you. Right? What the mistake that people make is they get in a relationship and they think the relationship is independent of real life. So we all have a path and a purpose. Design your relationship based on your purpose. Your relationship is not independent of your purpose. What people do is they put down their purpose to pick up a relationship and do the relationship independently of the real world. Where are you going? Where do you want to go? Mate based on where you want to go. That is very simple. Either a person aligns with where you want. This has nothing to do with feelings. It's basic toolbox shit. How do you build a house? What do you put in your toolbox? Right? What y'all are doing is y'all are thinking about romance because black people watch a lot of TV. So what you're doing, you're creating a relationship based on what you've seen on TV and a script. And if it doesn't look like the script, then the relationship is a failure. But my question to you is, where are you going? Right? So do a 20-year projection. Mate based on of someone appreciating. These weirdo niggas will keep telling the men that a woman's value decreases over time. How? Oh, they're talking about her face. But a man's dick decreases over time. So it does not matter because you're not going to be able to have sex with her anyway. We all fall apart physically, and our inner selves develop. We lose our face and gain perspective. What the men are focusing and teaching the boys and these people is to mate based on the way a person looks. Now, cool. Beauty is super subjective, right? That's cool. But show me another magic trick. Right? Now, this is the thing. This is the thing. This is what's interesting. A man sees a girl. These guys see women that look nice and think babies, right? Instead of thinking money. What is the real purpose of messing with someone super attractive and they can't make you any money? A man sees a woman that is attractive and the only thing he could think about is sleeping with her. Not making no plays. Oh, I forgot. High value men don't need you for that. Really? Really? Bill Gates is still grinding. Elon Musk is still grinding. This is why the black man can't tell me shit, because Elon Musk is super balling. Why is he super creative still? Why is he still putting in 70-hour work weeks? Why is Warren Buffett still at the office competing? The black male, the same male that says that we're oppressed and the system is marginalize us, wants to take his foot off the gas. The same way the black woman just wants to rest in her femininity. Well, sis, while you're resting, by the time you look up, the Asian woman, North Korean, South Korean, Chinese, Japanese, Taiwanese, the Mexican woman, the Brazilian woman coming to America, the El Salvadorian woman, when you come up from resting in your femininity, your child is going to be locked out of the market. While you were resting and divesting, right? Other people had their eye on the prize, and it is this. Remember I showed you this, everybody? Empire. Oh, this is the British Empire. This is the Japanese Empire. This is the Mali Empire. This is the Spanish Empire. This is the Roman Empire. While you're resting in your femininity, while the high value man just needs a woman to be fit and pretty, and this is empire. And none of that logic is how you build empire. Especially these people that come from these regions and communist and socialist countries that have a history of war, that have felt the full might of the American military and know what it's like to have relatives get blown up by drones. They are coming to America and they have no emotions. None. They are coming to America and they don't give a damn about no ADOS. They're coming to America and they don't give a damn about no Jim Crow. They don't give a damn about nothing. Oh, bet you niggas did the work for them through your civil rights, and then you allowed people to come in the country because you love everybody. Cool, you're gonna pay for that. You're gonna pay for that. During this voting block, you was screaming and hollering, kids in cages. Kids are in cages. What do you mean? If you get caught with dope in your house in America and they raid your house, guess where your kid go to? A cage, foster care. You see what the foster care system does to children? You caping more for foreign children than you are American children. Kids in cages. When the police raid your house, what do you think happens to your children when you go to jail? What you talking about, some kids in cages? But it's black babies in foster care that been there since they was little, and you ain't caping for them. Kids in cages. That shit is going to be the death of y'all. Empire. This is all it's about right here, y'all. Empire. The world is a very brutal and ugly place, and you got to control it as much as possible. Empire. Spanish Empire. Look at the empire. Look at the empire. And guess what happens? This is why niggas can't tell me nothing about the diaspora and Africa being infiltrated. You know why? Because when it was happening, nature allowed it. The sun didn't send a solar flare to burn the enemies. Look, when the Romans were spreading their empire, how are they doing it? With the sword. Nature didn't do nothing about it. It allowed it. Look, when the conquistadors were spreading their empire, look at the distance from Spain. For people that don't know, you see look over Northwest Africa. Northwest Africa. Look at that red on top of there. That's Spain. Now, look where the Caribbean is. Look where Central America is. And look where South America is. You know how hard it is to get over there? And while these conquistadors were traveling on boats to get over there, how come Mama Africa and the Orishas and all this nigga spirituality, it didn't do nothing? Not a damn thing. They was allowed to go put their mat down on other people, and nature didn't do a damn thing about it. You know why? I live by a philosophy. Fortune favors the bold. The bolder you are, the more favor you have. Nature does not support the weak of anything, of any species, of any people, nobody. You know how I know this? Because I like to watch Animal Planet, and I see little babies get ate by wild dogs all the damn time. You think nature's going to protect your baby? What? A Chester will pick your baby off as soon as you turn your head in the mall. It's brutal out here. Empire. Mali Empire. Japanese Empire. The British Empire. That's how it goes, y'all. So while you're resting in your femininity and you niggas are talking about masculinity and femininity, yo, if I put a gun right in your face, nothing about your femininity and masculinity could stop a bullet. Nothing. Nothing. Y'all better work together, man. Or just leave each other alone and stop talking about each other. Let me show y'all something. Let's watch a video. And this is really going to make my point. Let's watch a video. Let's watch a video. Fair use, man. Let me make my point. This is going to help me make my point. Let me know if y'all can hear this. Let me make sure. You're going to help me peep the conversation. And peep the expectation of niggas. And if this is the mentality, they don't have a 500-year history. He might do well with it. But the young niggas that's listening to him, the base, they're in trouble.
How are you?
I'm
That's
good.
a girl.
Let me know if y'all can hear me.
How are you?
I'm well. What you got for me?
Fair use.
I'm 38.
Mm-hmm. So what do you have for me?
I wanted you to assess what you thought my value was because I do date. I just got back on the market, and I prefer high value men.
Well, I'm not really doing ratings, but I can give you an idea. But I'm saying I'm really not doing ratings, but I can give you a general idea.
Okay, let's go.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'7".
Oh, brother.
Dress size?
4.
How much did you weigh last time you weighed yourself?
130. It was like 136.
Okay. Any children?
Yes.
How many?
1.
Age and gender?
9. Female. Got a girl.
Okay.
Baby girl.
Okay. You were married to their father? Her father?
I wasn't.
Okay. Hard truth. I even said it earlier on Instagram, so if you go back, you'll see it. A kid knocks 2 points off of every woman.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay.
So let's say if you're a 10 and you have a kid, you drop to an 8. If you're 9, you drop to a 7.
I told y'all the other day, the biggest baby mama of the century is Mary Magdalene. All this talk about single moms and Jesus' mom was a single mama. Joseph is not Jesus' daddy. He a Christian though. This dude is a Christian. And Jesus come from a single mama. Did y'all hear what I said? That these are supposed to be Christian men. And they're talking about a kid knocks points off. Okay, cool. Well, Joseph didn't knock Mary up. That ain't his son. So does she get points knocked off her too? She's a baby mama. Jesus come from a single mama.
Because it's that big of a deal. Are you looking to get married?
I am.
Okay. Are you 38?
Yeah. I turned 39
looking to have any
in
more
February.
children? Okay, you're looking to have any more children?
It depends. It depends on my mate. I do date older men, so if he ends up being a certain age, then I'm gonna opt out of that. But I would like to have another child. I would like for my child to have siblings.
Okay.
Just maybe one.
Okay, so and the thing is, when you put this high, you're like a CPA or something?
No, I work for a public accounting firm. I'm in advisory. I've been in corporate finance for 16 years.
Okay, so automatically, what starts to complicate things is when women start talking about high value men tend to you don't tend to become high value until 35 or 40 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Then they want babies.
Right.
And you already got your baby.
But I got one.
Again, you got one, but logistically, take you out of it.
Yes.
You know that if a man is looking, has had to wait and delay gratification, he's going to want to have more than one kid. He's going to want to have 3.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an only child. I tell men don't do 1. 2 is so 3 is not in the repertoire. So you're looking for an extremely specialized, high value guy. You're looking for a guy who wants 1 kid.
Elon Musk.
And it's all right with being a stepfather.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What state are you in?
I'm in Houston, Texas.
Oh, geez, yeah, and the Houston is loaded with finesse niggas. Woo!
I know, man.
I gotta ask, why high value? Why does he need to make that much money?
Well, it's not even about it's about a well-rounded man that's been grown properly. First of all, I've been in corporate finance for a long time. Then where I'm going,
you got to tell me that it comes down to this. You got married.
He has to be able to match my fly at least.
And then what's
mentally.
But what is the income now?
Where's my income?
Give me a range. Don't give me specifics.
We in the six figures. We're doing well. We're doing well, and I was doing well as an entrepreneur.
And do you care if he's black or not?
I don't care if he's black or not. I prefer me a good black man, but
is your child's father black?
Yes, he is.
All right, so it will matter because it tend to be so 8% of black men earn more than six figures, and you want them to match your fly. And because here's what it comes down to: if I gave you, call him James. Actually, call him Kenneth.
Now watch
Kenneth.
this.
And you
my daddy named Kenneth.
All right, well, call him Thomas. I don't know.
Okay,
you and Thomas.
All right.
You and Thomas is doing fine, and Thomas is making 60. He's a master plumber, and he gets $60 an hour, but he's really making $65,000, $70,000 a year. He's in the top 15% of black men. But you and Thomas decide to get serious, and you want to get a home, and you're going to get a home based upon his income? No, you're going to want a home based upon your income and your lifestyle and his income. But then it comes down to this. Let's just say the mortgage is $2,500.
Okay.
You were paying $1,700 of that, and he'd be paying $8,000. Every bill that came down, you'd be paying 2/3 of it, and he's paying 1/3 of it. Everything, every gallon of gas you bought, you paying 2/3 and he's paying 1/3. Every gallon of gas in his car, you paying 2/3, he's paying 1/3. And this is where the shit you see her take the drink is got tight. She's like, oh shit.
Look, this ain't for some tea. I ain't playing with you. I'm listening.
But the thing is, it gets real there because it is hard for women to really think about splitting their money like that with a man.
It's not so much difficult for me to think about it because I think about the opportunity for us to become accredited investors now. That's why I think about the threshold. Okay.
Listen close.
So there are several things I'm thinking about, and then I know strategy. So I could take a plumber and have him have an entire business because that's the way that my mind works. And so I would make that work for us.
Put your penis up.
Somebody laughing.
You see what you just did? You see what you just did?
See how
I gave you a man who's out doing just fine on his own, and you got to go make him earn one and be like you. That ain't gonna work, boo.
It's not. So
you're gonna emasculate the hell out of him.
What?
Because it's like, well, now I've been, Thomas, you've been a plumber for 20 years and you just happy, yeah. But now she got me trying to have a truck and this and that going over here and that. Well, why? Well, because she's used to Birkin bags. You know, she thinks we can become accredited investors. And what's that gonna be like sitting up in the bed on Sunday when Thomas wants to sleep in? Hey, you know, you should get up and start that website. We can do this, we can do that.
Now you see why I say somebody got to be on.
Okay, so listen to this. He's supposed to want to get a truck. You know why? Because of empire. Remember this? Remember this? We can't stop. He's supposed to want to get a truck. We got to keep moving forward. There's things like inflation. So he said he's making 70,000. How much does that 70,000 when our inflation happens? So what he's saying right there is niggas need to just so when the woman comes in and wants to do more, put your dick away. That's what he said. Put your penis away. It's setting the bar for a low standard. Well, I'm cool where I'm at. We can't be cool. We can't be cool. Listen to this right here. Because she said, yo, we could be investors. Ain't that increase? That's a good thing, right? So because it didn't come out of his mind, it's a problem. See, if the plumber came up with the ideal, then it's all good. But since it didn't come out of his mind, now it's a problem. And they associate that with masculinity. But I'm not listening to nobody that doesn't study the occult. I'm not listening to nobody that doesn't study esoteric principles. That's masculinity? That right there? Oh, remember what I read in Genesis? What is it that the woman wanted? The tree of what? Knowledge. She wanted more. It's women that make us want more. Let me show you something again. Let me show you something, y'all. This is empire, Roman Empire. You think the males just did that on their own? Even though they were hella homoerotic, they still got mothers. Empire is about women going to get them or doing it for. If you take women out the equation, what do guys do? Nothing. Nothing. Spanish Empire. You don't think this is about women? Mali Empire. You don't think this is about women? Japanese Empire. You don't think this is about women? British Empire. You don't think this is about women? Let me play this again. Because the women, what the women are being told, and the niggas love this. The guys that's doing absolutely the bare nothing, love it. Put her in her place because now I might got a chance with her. And she is sitting up here and agreeing with this shit. Listen to this.
Somebody laughing.
Listen.
But then it comes down to this. Let's just say the mortgage is $2,500.
Okay.
You were paying $1,700 of that, and he'd be paying $800. Every bill that came down, you'd be paying 2/3 of it, and he's paying 1/3 of it. Everything, every gallon of gas you bought, you paying 2/3, and he's paying 1/3. Every gallon of gas in his car, you paying 2/3, he's paying 1/3. And this is where the shit you see her take the drink, it's got it tight. She's like, oh shit.
This ain't nothing but some tea. I ain't playing with you. I'm listening.
But the thing is, it gets real there because it is hard for women to really think about splitting their money like that with a man.
It's not so much difficult for me to think about it, Zach, because I think about the opportunity for us to become accredited investors now.
What's wrong with that?
That's why I think about the threshold. Okay?
What's wrong with that?
So there are several things I'm thinking about, and then I know strategy.
Okay, that's good, right?
I could take a plumber and have him have an entire business because that's the way that my mind works, and so I would make that work for us.
Listen to this.
Put your penis up.
What?
Somebody laughing.
You see what you just did? You see what you just did?
See how
I gave you a man who's out doing just fine on his own, and you got to go make him earn one and be like you.
Be like her or be like this. What? What? She said investing. She said, oh man, maybe you could get a truck, babe. You know why? Because if he gets a truck, then he might can expand his business to the point where he's not physically getting under the toilets anymore. He's a plumber. How long can he do that with his body? He might have to have people under him to train him so they could work. What was wrong with that? The problem was it didn't come out of his mind. Huh? What was wrong with that? So because she did that, that's what they mean by submissive. All the fire, the shit got to come out of my mind. You're going to starve.
That ain't gonna work, boo.
It's not. So
you're gonna emasculate the hell out of him. Because it's like, well, now I've been, Thomas, you've been a plumber for 20 years and you just happy, yeah. But now she got me trying to have a truck and this and that going over here and all that. Well, why? Well, because she's used to Birkin bags.
She ain't say that. She didn't say that. You see, he didn't say that. She ain't say nothing about, see, you got to listen with a sharp ear. She ain't say nothing about that. He don't even know if she likes shit like that. He just threw that on her. A Birkin bag is $20,000. What? What people even making 6 figures cause drop 20 on a bag?
You know, she thinks we can become accredited investors. And what's that gonna be like sitting up in the bed on Sunday when Thomas wants to sleep in? Hey, you know, you should get up and start that website. We can do this, we can do that.
Now you see why I say somebody got to be on the same frequency as me, somebody that enjoys preparing and creating.
But you're on a masculine frequency.
Oh, okay.
You're not on the right, you're on a masculine frequency.
Okay.
So if you want somebody on that, okay, are you all right being 1 of 5?
Oh, I already had this scenario and I didn't like that.
Well, then are you all right with letting Thomas just be, you're not going to accept Thomas?
Why does Thomas have to be my scenario though when I'm surrounded by men that are like engineers and
because they don't want baby mamas. 40 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Because they want somebody to give them, because an engineer like myself who had to work to make up, I want 3 of my own kids and I don't want to be paying for yours.
Yo. So because she said, oh, you get a truck, that's masculine? That's masculine. Okay, cool. So when Harriet Tubman ran back and was grabbing people, the men at that time was supposed to be like, nah, this some masculine shit you doing, I ain't going. So Harriet Tubman was doing some masculine shit. The Black Panther Party had women in it. In the breakfast programs. In their nursing programs. That was masculine. They're making this shit up as they go. They're talking about masculinity as if it's an actual energy in nature that we can use like electricity. Electricity has laws. Magnetism has laws. Okay? If masculinity is a thing that he's claiming, what's the law? And when we apply the law, everybody should be able to conduct the same experiment and get the same result and bear witness. She said we could get a truck. That was masculine. If you follow the logic of this nigga and many like him, didn't I just bring up the things of automation? People are going to starve. What did y'all know? Hold on. Let me show y'all this again. Yeah, hold on. Let me show y'all this again. Y'all tripping. Y'all. Let me show you this again, y'all. He said, "Why can't Thomas just be all right?" Okay. Why can't Thomas just be all right? Right? That's what he said, right? Why can't Thomas just be all right? All right. So let's go back to this again. This is right here is the median household income. 41,000 African American, right? Median household income, right? Now, mind you, inflation is happening where you're not getting a lot for your spending power, right? So now, let's go right down here. Economics is warfare. How can I, with my 70,000, be cool when, let's count them. Now, these are immigrants, right? Let's count them. One. Now, he said Thomas makes 70,000. All right, cool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 11 of these groups, these are Asian Americans. So 11 groups that are Asian American make more than 70,000. Remember, he said Thomas is cool. So he ain't gonna make no more money than he got right now. He maxing out, he ain't tripping. Leave him the fuck alone. That's what he's saying, right? Are these Asian groups, do they have that mindset too? Are they gonna be like, man, I don't care? All right. Huh. Okay. Now, while I'm right there. Now remember, she came with the ideal, babe, we could get the truck, right? Just to show you the we have the nature of what we call men and women totally wrong, right? Let's go back to the scripture, which they use to say that the woman is submissive. Let's go back to that, right? Because it's actually a good thing. It's a good thing for a woman to come with that. So we could do more and get more and max out, right? Remember, the woman is talking to the serpent. You remember? What did the woman want to do? She wanted to eat of the tree of what? Knowledge. The man wanted the tree of life. The man wanted, I'm good, I'm chilling. The woman wanted more. And the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden. But the fruit of the tree, which is in the midst of the garden, God said, ye shall not eat of it. And the serpent said unto the woman, you shall not surely die. For in that day, your eyes will be open, and you will be as gods, knowing good and evil. And the woman saw that the tree was for good, for food, and it was pleasant to her eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise. She took of the fruit thereof and did eat it, and gave it to her husband. That's more. That's more. Because the deity was trying to keep Adam deaf, dumb, and blind. He didn't even know he was naked. And the woman came and was like, fuck that. Let's get some knowledge. That's no different than what this girl was saying. Let me scale it back. And every dude on the line knows that unless you had a cold ass mama, a lot of the times you doing more was based on a woman you met. And it's okay to admit that. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
And creating
a masculine frequency.
Look, How is this
It's
masculine?
not. So
Because you're going to emasculate the hell out of him. Because it's like, well, now I've been, Thomas, she's been a plumber for 20 years and you just happy, yeah. But now she got me trying to have a truck and this and that going over here and that. Well, why? Well, because she's used to Birkin bags. You know, she thinks we can become accredited investors. And
What? This is America. Look, you have two things happening. Let's take his perspective. That Thomas just wants to chill, be left alone. What's different than the black femininity women talking about resting in their femininity? What's the difference? But both black men and women want to do nothing. The woman wants to rest in her femininity. The man wants to, what's wrong with this? But I just showed you automation. I just showed you what Joe Biden is doing with 11 million immigrants. I just showed you what it looks like for East Asians and their income in this country. How can the black woman say that she just wants to rest in her femininity? And then the black man, this example he's saying with, you know what, I'm good at 70. You will not have a 500-year history with that thinking. It's a wrap. 2 peas in a pot. And the funny thing is, the group thinks they're different than each other. 2 peas in a pot. That's what divesting is. Resting in your femininity. Ain't nobody talking about no children though. That's so crazy. What's the girl name? She online. She got the thing called Wife School. She bragging. I've never seen a bill in my life. Baby girl, if your husband passed away, you literally have to go suck off another man because you're a child. Wife School. Let's hear this nonsense one more time. This is bad thinking.
Because I think about the opportunity for us to become accredited investors now. That's why I think about the threshold. Okay. So there are several things I'm thinking about. And then I know strategy. So I could take a plumber and have him have an entire business because that's the way that my mind works. And so I would make that work for us.
Put your penis up.
Now, mind you, understand. First of all, she's cute. She's not a bad-looking woman at all. Do you know what this does to the males that are listening to her? To this? You know how good they feel? Because seriously, who do you think is the target demographic for this shit? Right? Notice, he only wants to talk to women that disagree. Why? Because that will further you might get one of them classic sound bites. So you don't want to talk to successful people in relationships. Right? They only want to talk to women who disagree because it's good for ratings. But think about the target demographic. The target demographic that's listening to him, they can't get her. Remember, she's in finance. They can't get her. So they love this shit. But what it's doing, though, it's devolving the black male, though.
Somebody laughing.
You see what you just did? You see what you just did?
See how
I gave you a man who's out doing just fine on his own, and you got to go make him earn one. And
what? In what culture is a man earning more a bad thing? Yo, I don't claim to know everything. If there's any books out here, if there's anything out here, let me know. a man earning is a negative? Isn't that what your lady's supposed to? This your partner. This the woman you with. Either it's a good ideal or a bad ideal. But it's masculine because she pitched the ideal. Oh yeah, babe. We accredited. That's masculine. Come on, man.
And be like you. That ain't gonna work, boo.
It's not. So
And she agreed. Oh man. She agreed. Vampires can't come in your home unless you say yes to it. She agreed. She agreed. You know why she agreed? Because Black women inherently think that a man is a natural leader just by gender alone. Not based on philosophy, not based on nothing. Come on, man. She agreed.
You're gonna emasculate the hell out of him. Oh, because it's like, well, now I've been, Thomas, you've been a plumber for 20 years and you just happy, yeah. But now she got me trying to have a truck and this and that going over here and everything. Well, why? Well, because she's used to the Birkin bag.
You see? I got a quick ear. That woman never said that. That woman never said Birkins was her thing. She never said that. She never said that.
You know, she thinks we can become accredited investors. And what's that gonna be like sitting up in the bed on Sunday when Thomas wants to sleep in? Hey, you know, you should get up and start their website. We can do this, we can do that.
What's wrong with that? Do you know how many lives that would change? That, okay, we didn't sleep in on Sunday and we got up and actually went and did something. Do you know the average American household would change just by that day period? Getting up and being productive, that's a thing. You're literally lowering the standard for Black men, and niggas is loving this shit. This is bad because I ain't have a daddy. Many of these boys don't have a daddy. And they're looking at him as an authority, like he knows what he's talking about. What's wrong with getting up on Sunday and getting a website popping? Elon Musk is still grinding. I'm telling y'all, man, when the inflation on this money hits, yo, if you got 100,000 saved, that shit's gonna spend like 60. It's not a joke. Interest rates are super low right now. What happens when all that shit rises at the same time? I just showed you the article with Joe Biden is 11 million immigrants that getting their citizenship. Then people are going to be available to get the same help and same treatment as you. And your people's been here for generations.
now you see why I say somebody got to be on the same frequency as me, somebody that enjoys preparing and creating.
But you're on a masculine frequency.
Oh, okay.
You're not on the right, you're on a masculine frequency.
Okay.
So if you want somebody on that, okay, are you all right being one of five?
Oh, I already had this scenario and I didn't like that.
Well, then are you all right with letting Thomas just be, you're not going to accept Thomas.
Just let him do him. Just let him. That's it, bro. But the reality is, based on our economy, 70,000 ain't enough. It's not. That's not my opinion. Maybe in the 60s, but not now. We're literally printing money out of nowhere. and dumping it into the economy. Wall Street is a damn bubble right now. We're literally printing money and throwing it into the economy. We're devaluing the money.
Why does Thomas have to be my scenario though when I'm surrounded by men that are like engineers?
Yeah.
Because they don't want baby mamas.
I'm
40 years old. Because they want somebody to give them, because an engineer like myself who had to work to make up, I want 3 of my own kids and I don't be paying for yours.
But I've been paying for mine.
Yeah, every dollar I put in your kid's mouth is a dollar I'm not putting in my kid's mouth.
But is there
listen. Let's take it away from you because it gets too personal.
Okay.
How was your child? How was a single mother's child an asset to another man? Come on, accountant.
Only in the legacy that she lives and leaves.
But she's not an asset to me because there's no DNA tied to me. She's
what? What does DNA? What does that mean? What does that mean? The asset is the woman. So, I wonder what would have happened if somebody was LeBron James' stepdaddy. Do the same rules apply? Because some of these young boys and young girls, man, they going somewhere. All they need is that extra hand and that extra balance and confirmation. But with the single mama logic, I don't want to hear no one talk no more shit about the black community and single parent households. On 1 minute, y'all talk shit about single parent households, right? So you have all these kids that no man in the home, right? Don't date single mothers, right? Okay, cool. But then the next minute, y'all talking about, the community needs role models, and make up your mind, yo. Make up your minds.
She's 9 years old. That man would be putting into your baby daddy's legacy. I would just be paying.
What?
That's a bad investment.
Ooh.
It's your investment, but I've been a stepfather. I can go get the money back that I put into my stepson.
But
it's gone.
Well,
and all the dollars I put into that, even though it was there, I have to accept the fact that it didn't go into my daughter's mouth.
Right.
Because as stepfathers, you have no legal claim. And how many stepchildren, how many times do you see somebody stepping up to get taking an award? They want to say, I thank my stepdaddy. Or they always thank their stepmama or their mother. And man, you know how this goes. So your ambition, you make too much.
What? Whoa. Listen firmly, yo. If you've been here since the beginning, I showed you automation. I showed you immigration, right? Now I'm talking about inflation, and I believe that we're going to have some inflation the likes of Venezuela. I don't know if it's going to be that extreme, but already, if you go to the market, look what $100 gets you. Absolutely nothing, right? He just said the woman makes too much money in America. Oh, y'all didn't catch that. One more. What they say? One more again.
The fact that it didn't go into my daughter's mouth.
Right.
Because as stepfathers, you have no legal claim. And how many stepchildren, how many times do you see somebody stepping up to get taking an award? They want to say, I thank my stepdaddy. Or they always thank their stepmama or from their mother, and man, you know how this goes. So your ambition, you make too much.
What? Her ambition. That is very telling. The more telling thing is that the males are agreeing with this shit. So what she should do is make less, right? Don't worry about the dude getting the truck, none of that, right? And be fit, feminine, and cooperative. While he does what exactly? What is this philosophy rooted in? What is it the live? Who's the master teachers that he follows? That's not that. What he's saying is un-American. She makes too much money? Who says something like that in America? Only Negro logic. And I just told y'all now that I done made the law that you can only nig 45 minutes in a day. And he 10 minutes in. So he's in this video, he's on this portion. And if I don't do something to enact the Negro, the nigs can't nig no more law, you're going to be out extinct with this thinking. This is a man that told a woman she make too much money. I can't make this shit up, man. I'm a simp for this. This is America where people cross oceans and die on rafts, where people cross borders and get manhandled by border patrol, all to come and participate in the free market, to be whatever it is they want to be. But the black man, the so-called foundational African-American, blah, blah, blah. We're telling the black women you're making too much money in a pandemic? When corporations are falling off, you make too much.
And you waited too long to have a lot of opportunities in this area.
That's true.
Oh
I agree with you on that.
So why did you wait this long?
I was really focused on entrepreneurship, like during my 20s. I really enjoyed my career, and I honestly did not take dating seriously. I was really dating for fun because I was really more so focused on my career.
So you were
And the only time I took it seriously was after I was forced to settle down, which by having my daughter at 30, and then it was like, okay, well, now I understand the value of partnership.
So, and when I do this broadcast next week, and I explain to black women how they bought into this dream more than anybody else.
I agree with you on that.
And unfortunately, I can't undo that because you can't get those years back.
Right.
Her life ain't over. Oh my God. This is what I mean by binary thinking. This is not even well thought out shit. How can a woman that's making money, that can get a passport, travel the world, do whatever, like what? Man, your life starts, ends whenever you say it does. You're not dating a fucking a thing you get out of a fortune cookie. She actually thinks that this is some cold game that she's getting.
You will focus on your career, okay?
But that's how our parents advised us, honestly.
That's what
Even
they were
my
sold.
daddy advised me like that.
Well, but the thing is, I'm not gonna look.
But I feel
Like
what
I
you're
said,
saying.
the problem is that non-black women in your position don't look at their men with contempt.
How do niggas know that? Niggas are the masters of what other groups of people do. Unless you speak Spanish or Mandarin, the only thing you can show are numbers. And I just showed what immigrant groups are doing based on the numbers. Niggas always say that. Well, we're the only group of people. How do you know? Where would you even get the intel from? Shade Room? How do you know what other people are doing?
I agree.
I have had clients who make far more money than their male counterparts, their husbands, and they are submissive. And they're not trying to get their husbands to become copies of them.
Maybe it's because I associate blue collar work with, and this is my own fallacy, and I apologize to anybody that may feel slighted by this statement, but I'm just being transparent. Like maybe I associate blue collar work with not being well traveled, intellectual, not being. I'm sorry.
Where have you traveled to?
I've been to the Philippines, Japan. There's several places I haven't been, but I've been a few places overseas. I've been, of course, a lot of places domestically. I have a bucket list though. I know of places I would like to go. There are places I plan on going in 2021 also with my daughter, you know, to start helping her.
Well, who's her father? Is her father a high value man?
He does well for himself. He is an entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't want to go into too much detail, but he's not living a lifestyle that's in alignment with mine.
All right. So you put yourself in a position because
I know.
Like I said last night, your income and your education do not matter.
Right.
Are we in America or what? Am I bugging? Let me tell you something. If this is the real logic, because it got to be black men, right? So if this is the real logic of high value black men, then the high value black man is the biggest sucker in the world. And the reason the elephant in the room is the so-called high value black man hasn't been so high value his whole life. The high value black man hasn't been so high value his whole life. Who was this high value black man 20 years ago? In 12th grade, 11th grade, 10th grade, freshman year in college. Because why does he mate like this? Why does he talk like this? Why are these dudes moving like this? Is it old scars, man? From a time where life was a little more aggressive? Oh, man, this is crazy. Income and education don't matter. Whoa.
To the kind of men, they don't matter. Like, and that's what you're judging men on. And, you know, and the guys who are actually effectively around what could work for you, you think they're beneath you.
I don't think they're beneath me. I just try to
beneath you. Your money or your education doesn't make you high value.
Right.
They're just not. what you didn't say is if you met a guy who was in the top 15% of earners of black men, you didn't say, oh, I would be happy and be thankful I got someone who'd be willing to step in and be a stepfather to my daughter and would be willing to take on the liability of another man's responsibility. And
we didn't get to that part yet.
But but because we didn't get to that because you automatically said that you would try to get him to make more money and do other things other than realizing.
I see what you're saying.
Other than realizing he is giving you one of the biggest gifts of all. He is accepting your lack of giving him children and taking on somebody else. You should be washing his feet with your hair.
Okay, so out of the eligible men that are making to me right now and dating me right now, you saying that I should just be thrilled that these men are into me the way that they are?
I'm not saying I don't know the eligible men that you're dating. I'm saying that if a man who's talking about, like Thomas, a man who's in the top 15% of earners of black men, and is willing to step in and marry you, that puts you in the 1 out of 4 black women that will ever marry in their lifetime. You should treat him like a king for the fact that he's willing to do that, in addition to the fact that you have a child by another man that he has to pay for.
I agree with you.
And ask him, how many children would you like to have with your wife? Probably going to be more than 1, but he's going to accept 1 from you. And he has to raise 1 that you already have. He's the one that will be sacrificing a lot. So instead of trying to get him to do anything else, you should be, honestly, it's like, oh, thank you. Because see, what used to happen, women used to have children out of wedlock.
Yeah.
You were a pariah. No one wanted you. In China, and you've been overseas, try this shit in Japan. Try it in Korea. You know what they call you over there? Women who are unmarried over age 27 are called leftover women. Leftovers. But women who have children out of wedlock are pariahs. And we used to do that in this country, but we've made it okay to where you can even go sit up in a church with a child. To where you just think a man should accept it and be like, it's no big deal because I can take care of my daughter. But understand, you had a daughter, right?
I did.
All right,
I do have a daughter.
So let's just say change his name to whatever. Let's change his name to something sexy like Boaz. You marry Boaz, and Boaz is matching your flow. Boaz is a $110,000 insurance salesperson.
Okay.
All right, he's doing this thing. Woo! You and Boaz got Boaz Jr. And then your daughter turns 14, 15 years old. You and Boaz have been 5 years. And then one day you come home and your daughter's in tears and say, what's wrong, baby? Boaz touched me. Boaz is dead. Everything that Boaz, first thing you're gonna do is fuck Boaz, fuck my kid, fuck everything else. What you do to my daughter, you gotta deal with your ex-husband or your baby daddy, because she gonna tell his daddy. Boaz being a stepfather to a daughter in the Me Too generation is asking for a lot of problems.
Trust me, which is why when she was born, I literally said, I ain't dating. I said, fuck it. I said, I'm going to wait till she 18. But now I would like a companion, so.
I know what you would like now, but the thing is, you have to ask yourself, what am I asking a man to do for me?
Okay.
See, you ladies are good at saying what you want. And what I'm good at doing is asking you what the kind of man you want. But then when you have a child, much less a daughter, you're asking a man, I mean, you know how this happens. I mean, if she says something, it's guilty until proven innocent.
Trust me.
Remember what I said, you and Boaz had a child, Boaz Jr. It wouldn't matter if Boaz Jr. is there. Now Boaz Jr. got to see how his mom has turned on his mom for his stepsister. think that he gonna like his stepsister. And God forbid she was just doing it just to be malicious. Because, you know, how many times kids, you know, will call CPS, children use stuff. Man, all these things are in a man's mind. This is why
I understand.
And so we have gotten to the point to where
Interesting.
You should not marry before you have children. And if you have a child, you should marry the child's father because you guys have the investment. This is why I say it's all liability for men. All liability.
Understood.
Interesting.
So I get what you want. I do. But you know, like I know, you want a man on a certain kind of income level, and I don't know if you got enough there to make somebody who has those kind of options pick.
But she's on a certain type of level. This is what's odd to me. This is what's weird. So it's odd coming from this sector in this space of dudes that if a black woman makes 100,000, right, and she says she wants to get with a dude that makes 100,000, that's asking too much. The real question we should be asking is, what are the group of males in that culture doing? And if it's a small percentage of black men in corporate America are earning a certain type of money, why? Now, someone could say because of redlining and all these other factors, right? Okay. A lot of things could be true at a few times. But is it possible that is some type of cultural thinking? Because I'm listening to a man that is supposedly high value, who the Negroes have elevated to that this is the nigga, right? And I'm hearing him talking about a black woman makes too much. I'm hearing him say education doesn't matter. I'm hearing him give weird flex scenarios, okay? And this is the best we got to offer, yo. A little more, and then I'm
He only gets.
But they've been choosing me though.
Choosing you for what?
Well, for one, listen, I'm gonna be honest with you.
So look, she trying, like she'll agree and then she'll come back though. Like she trying to double back a little bit. Because I'm looking at her. She says she a size 4. All right, cool, right? She in Houston and she getting play out here. She might just be picky or whatever, or she got options or whatever. So I don't know, but she trying to hang in there and she going like, I don't know, nigga, like,
Talk be for real.
Yeah.
When I talk to other men about the option of women, I can be honest with you. A lot of women can be beautiful, but they lack substance.
All right.
That's one of my pluses.
Choosing you for what though? Choosing you for what?
Right now, since I've been on the dating scene, they choosing me to date and date with a purpose. We date with a purpose.
No. Tell me, choosing. See, this is what I talk about. Women would take the mistake that a man will choose you or deal with you as if that means he was going to marry you. No. I'm talking about a man chooses you when he's willing to drop to one knee and present a ring of significant characters in public.
Agree. That's why I'm single till I'm married.
So men will choose you because you're an attractive single mother who has sexual desires. They're like, well, shit, let's go. Let's get it in. Let's do what we do. Let's talk. Let's talk this. Talk all this. Let's talk that.
We ain't just. Come on.
I didn't say Hold on.
Intimate
I did
with
not
everybody.
say that. I did not say that.
It's a lot of comments down there.
I'm not worried about the comments. I'm talking to you.
Okay, come on, Kevin.
You looking at comments. I'm talking to you.
All right, Osmos.
I'm saying that you're a healthy woman. Yes, you can have a great time with the man, but it is going to be difficult to find a high value man, because that's what you want, a man who's making a certain kind. It would be your daughter's 9. She wouldn't be out of the house until 18, 9 years, you'd be 47. Only 8% of black men made that kind of money. I'm sorry.
So this is the thing, though. This is the thing. So this is interesting. This is interesting. Why is the conversation about 8% of men? Okay. Now, in that 8% of men, how many are already married? Right? More than half. Right? So what are we talking about? 4% of men? Now, out of those 4% of men, right? How many of them are straight? That's a real question. So we're really talking about, and we're really about 3% of the dudes? 3? And I'm only going off the thing that what he says is high value. Yo, getting with people is not this hard, man. It really is not. Like, it's just making it so complicated, like it's not easy. It's not hard, man. This is not complex. This is just men and women been around millions of years. Now, all of a sudden in the 2000s, the genders just is like, oh my God, I don't understand you. I don't understand you. Like, what? The same way these niggas is going to Brazil for twat, it's men all over the world. And $117,000 in Santa Clara is considered low income. So his thing about high value, like, where do you live? Like, let's see.
And y'all are happy with regular guys. I don't understand.
No, I'm not saying that I'm not. I'm just saying that.
I know, but it's not your first choice. And if you did get him, you feel like you were settling. And we're not on YouTube and people on Instagram, people are watching. You and I know the truth. We know the truth.
But here's the funny thing. Here's the interesting thing about this cat right here. I call him, it's the Donald Trump factor. Every time there's something that exists in white America, it equally has to exist in black America. Sex in the City, Girlfriends, MTV, then BET, the MTV Awards, the BET Awards, Donald Trump, right? Who has nothing in common with his base. It's a guy that is not spoken for in society, let's be honest. And he spoke for them. Appalachian coal miners, right? Who got left out by the liberal status quo for years. And he tapped into them, right? He's speaking for black socially awkward niggas at the bottom, right? Who in black culture is so competitive to be something in black culture. This is who he's talking about. But he's talking like he's caping for the regular guy, but he doesn't dress like the regular guy. Neither did Donald Trump, because the regular guy does not wear suits. The regular guy doesn't get his nails done and his feet done. The regular guy doesn't know different types of colognes. This is all to take a woman and put her and feed her to the hyenas, and niggas love it. And the black woman is a glutton for punishment because y'all keep calling this nigga. So you get what you get. So based on this, the black women got to stop telling me that y'all the most educated group. Because if you are, then why are you calling him?
That's not something you'd be proud of. It ain't like you be running out to people tell, oh, I'm so proud of my guy who's a plumber. Oh, I just love his plumbing ass to death. Come on, that's not.
I would. Listen, if I choose him, trust and believe.
Okay.
It will be for a reason.
Of course, but
many reasons.
And this is some of the problems of having dating with children, and because
I agree.
because you have the child, you have grown accustomed to how you have to move. But every movement, every sacrifice you make, you have a child that is yours for the rest of your life. So it's all investment. You get a return. Somebody who's outside of you has no return. It's all it's all expense. Investment, men have an expense. And as a smart financial person, what are one of the things you want to do?
Lower your risk. Minimize your risk.
Minimize your risk, minimize your expenses. So
I agree with you. So,
I'm sorry, but that's what it goes down to. So
here
I don't know what's wrong with you and your ex, but that'd be your best bet.
That's not my best bet, but I will, however, reevaluate my options.
Okay, I'm done with this. Look, let me wrap this up. Listen, man. So the topic of my conversation today was, you know what I'm saying, submission, right? So we went to a few places, right? We read a few things, got to the bottom of a few things. I think everybody that's born into this culture, that's wise, I think you should all consider this ideal of divesting, right? Whatever the real definition of that means. I just like that word, right? I like when Black women say that word. But I'm not just talking about divesting and dating. I'm talking about full-scale divestment, because you're attached to a group of people that does not have a 500-year history in the future, a 500-year future, because it's the mind that builds civilizations, okay? The conversation being held by niggas is games and play, and it has nothing to do with virtual reality, the digital world. It has nothing to do with markets changing. It doesn't have anything to do with CERN splitting particles, not the sciences. Nothing about creation. There's a conversation about games and play and being entertained and gossip and what T.I. is doing and what Tiny is doing. And it's a sad thing because it's a de-evolution of males. And myself, like many other men, there was no men around, and then the men that were around, they taught us a lot of bad habits. So now we have this opportunity to share information, and it's a great opportunity, right? It's an opportunity that a lot of us didn't have. You know, we have access to older guys, and we can hear them talk, and we can hear them, you know, give us input on, you know what, how do I put my life together? And this is the offering. Single mothers. This is the offering. Judging women, scale from 1 to 10. And these are our 50-year-olds. Now, this is the thing, though, because I'm into capitalism. I see the super chats that come in on his channel. That's great, because he found a niche. And you know what? It is a good thing for people to see a Black man clean up a little bit, a lot of it. So that's a good thing. So what he's doing is going to work for him. That's fine. I'm not thinking about him. I'm thinking about the youngsters. And I'm thinking about the base, because those guys that are watching, not sitting up there, not a busy person is not going to listen to that, because there's nothing you can extrapolate and take from it and plug it in nowhere. It's not about anything. It's not about personal development. It's not about a vision board. It's not about knocking off goals. It's nothing I can use. It's very entertaining, right? But it's taking a woman that has got something for herself, taking her and throwing her down to a mob that is struggling badly with social awkwardness, that is struggling with childhood issues, that is not being spoken to by Black Lives Matter unless they get killed by the police. So he's giving voice to the voiceless. Fine. The problem with that is the market is saying something else. 11 million immigrants becoming citizens by a stroke of a pen is saying something else. Automation is saying something else. The competition outside to get money and to position oneself is saying something else. My advice to niggas listening to this, fuck what anybody talking about. Like what's liking you. That's number one. Um, and play your own hand, right? A single mother might be your, not all, that might be your best option because she might be going somewhere. So what you're saying is someone's going somewhere, you're not going to date them because of a narrative. Who's making up these rules, right? Who you following, right? To Black women, y'all dumb as hell. Y'all think y'all popping, right? All that. Slay, sis, slay. But how are you popping as an individual if you really, really, really think your life is not complete unless you pop a baby out or be up under a nigga? Life is full of adventure. There's so much things you can see. There's so much things you could touch. A man is a byproduct of living a fulfilled life. If you live a fulfilled life and a purpose-driven life, you're going to get all things that come with it. Maybe a man comes with it, maybe it doesn't. What if a fire sisterhood comes with it? A sisterhood you can grow with, a sisterhood you can learn with. Somebody will say, but what about in your bed? You could get a young nigga to pipe you. But if you listen to this shit right here, I don't know. Because what you just heard was just basically stop dreaming, stop pushing, stop moving forward. Basically go against everything that makes us American, which is education, right? Which is reaching for more, right? Which is industriousness and ingenuity. You just heard a man say a woman makes too much, right? That is very anti-American, right? But I have a challenge for you all to um, focus on the mystery and not the history. What that means is who cares what the narrative says and who cares what these niggas is talking about, right? Do you look at your hand? You know what mama you came from. You know what daddy you came from. Do you, whatever that looks like, right? Do you? Do you? Don't pick a man based on the Black community. Fuck these niggas. Seriously, right? And I'll share this with you. I knew shit was real when I got to see my mom in hospice, just withering away, dying, and I'm looking outside the window, and cars are just driving by on the highway, right? Planes in the sky. So even though that I was going through one of the worst experiences of my life, life was still going on. So like Sonny says in Bronx Tale, man, nobody cares. Nobody cares. So just do you, right? If you're gonna submit to anything, you submit to truth and what works. You allow truth to be an authority in your life because men are flawed. Humans are flawed. We're fickle. We change. We have hormones and emotions like this. But one thing that is a constant from now until we're up out of this thing is truth. Right? Oh, let me drop some. Man, make sure you hit that Cash App. Go ahead and put them 20s in. 10 people. Go ahead and put them dubs in. Right? Don't cheat me. Right? Put them dubs in. Also, holla at your boy. You know what I'm saying? You can hit my line for game, right? Now, when you hit my line for game, this is me helping you get from A to Z. You hit my line from game. You want to take a woman's man? Call my line. You got problems with confidence? Call my line. You got haters and you need to know how to finesse them and figure it out? Call my line. Whatever you got going for you, going on in your life, I'm going to talk directly to you. So make sure you lock that number in because you might need to call me after the club because you might about to be making a mistake. And you can hit that game line. That's a 24-hour line. And if I'm available, I pick up. But you got to put something down to pick something up. It is $1.99 a minute, right? So I am about this money though. So yeah, man, go ahead and put them dubs, them twomps, in that cash app. So them twomps, them 50s, them hundreds, y'all got them stimmies, all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got that unemployment, that shit popped today, all that shit. Go ahead and drop it like it's hot. My name is Ken Billions. This is Coin Gang Ministries.